peoples. Chat. Chronic, novella. Yo, blood, what's up, party people? Chronic, you play many visual novels. Drums, dance party. Chronic, there's no better drama, so of course. Yo, blob, I'm kind of excited to hear from the dev of one. Don't know how they work on the back end, so it'll be interesting. Yeah, I mean, we're excited to play this. We're making our own visual novel, obviously, so doing a visual novel dev stream for our dev weekend was a goal that we did set up. However, as of the current moment, the developer has yet to show up.
Also, I'm here too.
Oh yeah, Curtismutter's still here.
I'm kind of getting myself a drink of Coca-Cola together, so...
Ooh, yeah, you want to get me one too?
Yes.
Want to do some Coca-Cola ASMR?
Ooh.
Drum says, Kurtz! Hello? I don't like this whole he stole my thing.
It's an original thing that I came
sorry.
up with.
Drum said, Curtis! Hello.
Honestly, if
I don't know. Hang on. Let me switch this to...
If the visual novel person doesn't show up, we're just playing more next time.
Well, yeah, I think that's... So, Lane Leaves was supposed to be here at 1. But they have yet to chime in. But Jane, you started a movement. Be proud of that.
Exactly.
Yeah, so Lane Leaves, our developer for Deluge, is the one person we've been in contact with, and they are supposed to have been here at 1. But they have yet to talk and chat. And they didn't, like, message us on the other platforms we were talking to them on. So, we're gonna get, like, our pop and stuff together. And I don't know, if they don't show up, like, there's no point in doing a dev stream without the dev. Yes, please. Yeah, there's no point in doing a dev stream without the dev.
That would be devastating.
Hey, Curtis with the puns.
Thanks, folks. I'm here all week.
No, you're not.
No, this
So yeah, and like Curtis's final version of the game isn't installed on our computer yet. We were gonna do that in the break. So if Lane Leaves doesn't show up, we'll just play Attack on X Island again. If that's okay with you, Drums. Cause yeah, we don't have a backup. Hey, there we are. Lane Leaves is here. We get to play Deluge. Not that late, right? Only a little. We're just getting together our pop. You made it. You made it in time for us to not have a drink yet. Although, probably shouldn't have left the drinks up to Curtis. He's taking a sweet old time. So yeah, Leaves, do you want to maybe tell us a little bit about like the history of Deluge while we get our drinks together? I know Sermon of the Dead is one of a series. some more popcorn ASMR for you. Haven't had some good ice cracks in it.
Nice, clean ice crack.
Did you pour yours already?
Oh, I did.
Son of a bitch.
I'm the anti-AMSRist.
Did you say AMSR? Alright, so I got my drink. You got your drink?
I got my drink.
Shall we?
Yeah, that's the way.
And we'll share this first. So yeah, this is Deluge, Sermon for the Dead. I'll put this somewhere where you can actually read it. Deluge, Sermon for the Dead. I should probably change it so that the icons on my desktop are bigger. Leaves. We began developing 3 years ago. So it's been a process. It's always nice to hear that, like, actual time and effort went into a game.
Yes.
What program did you use, if you don't mind me asking? I'll switch to
Deluge, Sermon for the Dead.
Lane Leaves. They used Rempy. Oops, come on. There we go. Rempy is a popular source for visual novels and visual novel creation. I know that we have planned on using Rempy for our visual novel. We did a whole series of the tutorial that's 6 parts long of infuriation.
Right, yeah, okay. That
Now
was Rempy.
that you're out of screen, buddy.
Oh, whoops.
Yeesh. Yeesh. Do you want to, like, if you tuck the chair behind this one, maybe, or that, sure. We started off with 1 game, but there was enough plot and material left for a second. Now, we did play a bit of Deluge on Friday, the Threnody of Crashing Waves. Just to kind of, like, introduce people to the game and the idea. This probably should get moved too.
Okay, so this is the sequel to the
This
one
is
that
the
you were playing
sequel
the
that
other
they
day.
just released. And it is a sequel to the game. If anybody tuned in Friday or caught that on our YouTube Jay McKenna stories, we did play the original for about 2.5 hours on Friday. I will say, it has a lot of, like, history involved. Like, they sat down and, like, wrote a history book.
Mm-hmm. A lot of
To, like,
world building.
Yeah. Let me know if there are any questions about making degenerate visual novels in Rempy. Yeah, we did a whole tutorial series with Rempy. And I think when we were thinking of using Rempy, we kind of thought of it kind of more like RPG Maker, where we'd be able to, like, click and drag so that we could do it quickly kind of deal and just, like, focus on the drawing. But it's turning out that, like, the GUI that we would want to use, we would have to completely code ourselves anyway. Like, the GUI that comes with Rempy is different than what we wanted to use in our game. So either we recode the GUI ourselves, or we have to find a different program. Which will be weird after we did a 6-part tutorial of Rempy. But that's where we're at right now.
Oh, you were in the discovery phase.
I know most people do use Rempy, which, like, kind of supports that it's the one to use, but I don't know. We're shopping around, I think, at the moment, but we're not starting our coding series for another couple weeks, so we'll download some demos and see where we're at. Anyway, so here's the menu. Woo.
Mm-hmm. Right off the bat, Lane Leaves, did you do the artwork?
Yeah, it's real nice art.
Very pretty.
It's some good art.
Doing a lot of languages.
I mean, yeah, we got English, we got, I believe this is simplified Chinese, Japanese, Russian. Okay, we don't want to skip anything. We want the rollback disabled. We don't want auto on. I found that out last time. I'm very bad at keeping up with auto. All the volumes are turned all the way up. Okay, cool. We'll hop over to the About page to show off some of these. Oh, this one has achievements. I don't think did the first one have achievements? I don't remember seeing that in the menu. Or maybe I'm just... This is bought from an asset store. But I should be reading it off of the thing. I can actually read it off of.
featuring CG art drawn by Watashi.
This is bought from an asset store. Button customized. We do have an in-house artist who does the CGs.
Oh, cool. So you'll have to excuse my ignorance, but for me, CG just is the abbreviation for computer generated, because that's the line of work that I'm in. So, character graphic, possibly? Is that?
I'm gonna assume it's character graphic art.
Yeah.
I'm going to add achievements to the first game. Okay, cool. That's good to know. Created and developed by Leaves. Featuring CG art by Watashi. Produced by Soka. Hell of a lot of music credits. Did you do much custom UI for this? Is it done with coding? Leaves like big artworks. He also did some sprites. I believe that's a new answer to your CG question.
Yeah.
Like the splash pages.
Yeah.
I'm gonna assume.
Oh, okay.
And some sprites. These are the long list of music credits. Woo! Woo! And long list of sound credits. Woo! And art. And CG art. And translation team.
Now you got the languages spot on.
Whoa. You hired 6 people for Russian. So, how much does it end up costing to, like, dole out, like, this much work to other people? Because I would assume it's expensive to, like, hire someone to translate your game into another language.
Oh, well, especially a game like this.
Where it's, like, nothing but text.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Translate construction stake, I pay someone $5, but
most are
like
volunteers. Oh, okay. You'll have to let me know where you found so many willing volunteers, because I do not have such good luck. Oh yeah, made with RP. Okay, well, let's hop into the game, shall we? And that we've looked at everything.
Also, I apologize, I'm a sleepy boy today. So if I yawn, it's just because I'm tired.
Alt-Enter to activate full screen mode. Oh, okay. Where is my alt? Am I blind? Oh, okay, thank you. I am blind. Answer. Yes, I'm blind.
I beat the first challenge. Yeah, I'm a sleepy potato, Drums.
Sleepy potato... Drums, why do you have so many potato emotes, and how do I get them? The custom art is most expensive. Okay, yeah, I can see that. We have lots of volunteers, but it usually costs about $1,000 to $2,000. Yeeks. See, that's like the plus and minus of the fact that we're doing ours like in-house. Is like we're not gonna have a high cost, but Jay has a lot of work to do because they have to draw
everything.
The whole thing.
Everything.
The whole thing. I mean, like, we haven't even started coding it yet, and they have, like, I think most of the character sketches done. And then, like, well, like, there's 2 character sketches for each character, and that's not including, like, different facial expressions and, like, positioning of the person. And they've done, like, the 2... Excuse me, puppers.
Yeah. It's open.
She's gonna be a brat again. UI is mostly just the standard Rempy UI, but we changed the skins. Good to know. That's the only unfortunate thing about ours is that, like, in our head we had like a certain UI planned, and that doesn't go with what Rempy has.
And Rempy doesn't have options because, like, as a visual novel builder, you'd think there'd be a little versatility in such things.
The versatility lies in the fact that it lets you code your own. But, like, straight out of the box, it doesn't have many options. So it's like, use their UI and have it be more piecemeal, kind of like we had wanted the program to work. But then it's not going to run the way we had imagined it running. Or we have to code our own UI, which is going to take even, like, significantly longer to finish the game. Or we have to find a different program to use. So that's where we're at. And the Play Until Passing Out Puppo starts June 1st at noon. So I'm going to be sleeping this week in preparation for that. I think Jay's just going to keep drawing this week. But once I do the puppo and, like, pass out again, when I eventually wake up, I think we're going to go through a few demos. We've come up with a list of possible alternatives to use, including the program I think you used.
Game
for
Maker?
Construction Snake. Yeah, that's on the list. Also,
hell yeah.
Also on that list is Visual Novel Maker, which is a division of RPG Maker. And then, but, like, that one doesn't have a lot of community support on the forums. And, like, most of the people on the forums say that if you're going to use Visual Novel Maker, just download RPG Maker and then download plugins for RPG Maker to make it a visual novel maker. So we have a few different programs to try to see if any of them work with our imagined UI better. And if they don't, we'll go back to Rempy and we'll code it ourselves. And if they do, then we'll switch. But that's kind of where we're at right now. Alright, ready. Let's skip it any time to access the in-game menu. The game will autosave before each decision point. You can create manual saves through the in-game menu. Thank you for playing Deluge, Sermon of the Dead. Deluge! Sermon of the Dead. Also, if you can't handle, like, noises, you're in for it, because I can't play visual novels without noises. Oh my god, Drum sent so many potatoes! Oh my god, 2 of them are heart potatoes! Is that last potato crying? Oh, it is! It's blowing his little potato nose! I love your potatoes, Drums. Feel free to contact us with questions or feedback through the Steam Community Hub or at soca.org/leaves. That's SOCAH.org/LEAVES. Plug. Deluge, Sermon for the Dead is an interactive visual novel with multiple endings. Unlock each character's ending by choosing wisely at decision points. At the end of each chapter, you will be shown a progress summary per character pair. There are 3 possible scores: perfect, indicating perfect progress, nice, indicating above average progress, and danger, indicating low progress. Oh, we're back with the characters from the first game, too. From the looks of it. I'm gonna have to remember
May?
the voices. May, and this one's Rika, I believe it was. Rita. I might not remember the voices I used in the first video. And you're here now, so you have to save my throat. I can't do every voice for hours again.
I'm a little bit of a noob when it comes to the graphic novel, but I'm...
Just get in character, think of a voice.
I'm here for voice acting.
Do you have like 10,000 pieces of paper all connected via string on a bulletin board to keep track of different story and plot twists based on character choice? Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Sorry. Based on character choices, how do you keep track?
How you keep track?
That's a good question. I know Jay has a book that makes them look like they're a serial killer.
Yeah.
There's like drawn storyboards of the progression that they've done, but they also have like an entire book of like arrow, like dialogue, choice, arrow to what happens if they choose this. It's insane. It looks psychotic. Leaves. It's good to choose your engine based on the most difficult thing you want to do. If the engine handles the difficult stuff, you only have to do the easy stuff.
That's a very good point, actually.
That's kind of where we're at. It's like, in our head, we had a different layout of our game, basically. And Rempe doesn't come with that layout. So, like, it's like, do we want to code that ourselves, or can we find something else that'll let us do that layout more easily? Because we don't want to have to code it. Specifically, I don't want to have to code it because the coding would fall to me.
Would it?
Yeah. Because I'm the coder, technically, and I don't want to go back to coding. Coding's not a fun place.
Haha, no doubt. No doubt indeed.
What's with all these emotes you people have? Is that face melting? Is that cheese? Is that a block of cheese? Why does everybody have food emotes? I mean, I'm not complaining. I love them, but...
I definitely need to... you need to do another Minecraft stream soon, because
I
got a message saying that 30 more minutes of Minecraft viewing, I'll get a bunch of custom Minecraft emotes.
What?
So I need to watch like half an hour more of Minecraft, and I'll get some like custom chat emotes.
Are you getting something for like viewing Minecraft, like on the Minecraft like server?
It just said, I don't know, like watch like 30 more minutes of Minecraft content, and you'll get some emotes.
I wonder how it constitutes Minecraft content, if that's like...
Well, you could like put it like a hashtag and...
Well, because here's the thing. There's stream information, like if you go to here, they have categories.
Yeah.
And then they have tags.
So I wonder... It was like if it was tagged with a Minecraft.
If it was tagged with Minecraft? Okay. Yeah. That's good to know. I didn't realize that. You know, our next puppo is going to be Minecraft, so you have days to get that, hopefully.
Oh, perfect. Well, by 30 minutes into your next puppo, I'll comment some Minecraft emotes.
Alright, good to know. Anyway, let's get back to the actual game that we're trying to play. Pew pew! And I'll try to remember the voices I did. We didn't, like, beat the first game, so I don't know who's gonna be in this or not, but, like, I'll definitely take Ina and May. If you wanna handle, Rita, and I don't remember the other girl's name.
Okay.
The councilwoman.
I mean, just point to me and I'll start talking.
Alright. The story structure of our game are not too complicated. It branches like a tree.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think that's like the general story structure of a visual novel, is it ends up looking like a flowchart. It's just like, it's one of those flowcharts where like it'll branch out a lot but then, like, there's only, like, 4 to 8 endings, so then it has to, like, kind of come back in kind of deal, because you'll have, like, 7 different branches lead to the same bad ending kind of dealy. So it kind of, like, makes a diamond of a flowchart, usually. But that's why it always ends up looking insane. There is software for managing complex interactive storylines, but I just do it on paper. Yeah, Jay does it on paper too.
I think that's what I would end up doing.
Yeah, I feel like that's the more, like, involved way to do it. I don't know. I feel like putting it into, like, the software or whatever just kind of takes you out of it and would make it eventually harder to keep track of. I don't know.
Yeah. There's script writing software I use that has cue cards that you can write stuff on, but I always just write it out on actual cue cards and whatever sheet of scrap paper's laying around. The nights had been growing steadily warmer.
Are you taking narrative?
I just leapt on it.
Okay.
It's been laying on the screen.
If someone dies in one storyline, you need to try to remember.
Oh no, is this game gonna be sad?
It's called Sermon of the Dead.
Yeah.
A sickening stench of decomposing leaves lingered in the air as I made my way to school. And while I tried desperately to recall my dream of the whimsical pudding angel that I'd been torn from violently no more than 20 minutes ago, I felt thankful. Thankful that the mornings were growing brighter again, no longer forcing me to make this journey through pitch darkness. And with these thoughts in mind, I became aware of a drifting presence. Circling around me, scanning its environment with the trepidation of a child.
That was a good music cue.
I turned around. Behind me stood a young woman, no older than 25.
Wait, I thought you were a high school student.
From her sophisticated style and demeanor, I could immediately make out that she wasn't from around here.
Are you not a high school student?
I mean, you were in the first game. Again, we didn't beat the first game, so I don't know where that ends. I don't know if you're in college now. I don't know if you're even the same character at this point. Okay. So, and the second she noticed me, she approached, slowly at first, but more confidently once she picked up on my friendly nature. Who wants to take Marissa?
Excuse me.
Perfect.
Could you help me? I'm looking for a place called Fairview Apartments. Could you tell me where that is?
Of course I can. There was panic in her eyes, and I empathized with her, as it wasn't long since I had been a newcomer in this town myself, just as lost as she was. Soon, however, I'd landed a job in the newspaper delivery business, the first job I'd ever had, and it wasn't long before I'd grown familiar with every street and corner of this deceptively outstretched town. I moved the camera thinking that it... Because the camera was in the way the last time I played this, so I moved the camera, and it's still in the way. I apologize.
That's why I keep looking down every once in a while, by the way, as I have a second screen on my lap so that I can read...
Original Yoblob. What
text.
Is that? Creepy face? Or is that a marshmallow? No, there's ears. That's just a creepy face. Happy face. Happy face my butt. It's not a happy face. Oh, Chronic. I don't know if I read that. Chronic asked who did your backgrounds. Reacting to your voice. I flashed her a reassuring smile. Oh, we are Abe again. Oh, no.
Fairview? That's not far from here.
Are you gonna... Okay, you're gonna mock me now, are you? Alright.
Yes.
Alright, you can play Abe. Go right ahead.
I was just trying to remind you of his voice because it seemed like...
No, you mocked me. You clearly mocked me. That was mocking.
Is that what that was?
Yep.
Well,
I remembered that I made him Jersey the Fonz. I just was trying to get it.
Try to get into.
You need to like find. You need to like find the phrase to get you into talking that like that person.
Okay, what's the phrase for?
Hey, hey, Fairview. That's not far from here. Just head back up the road and turn left at Central Square. You can't miss it. She let out a sigh of relief.
Backgrounds. Minikle, among others. Minikle.
Watashi did some too. Okay, I am ignorant to this. Is that like... Are those like websites? Or are those like you hired people kind of thing? Or volunteers, or... Anyway. Are you visiting someone who lives here?
Visiting? Yes. I'm visiting myself.
I stared at her in confusion.
You meant both, Abe. It's me that lives at Fairview Apartments. I just moved in yesterday afternoon, so I forgot, the fastest way home.
She showed me a silver house key.
I really thought I wouldn't get lost this time.
Her voice turned melancholic.
It's not like I'm unfamiliar with these surroundings, you know? I used to live here as a child, until I was about 8 years old, and I've been back to visit a few times since then. But things have changed. The town has expanded.
Leaf said artists. Watasho is our in-house artist. Gotcha. I did a very good job. The backgrounds are very nice.
Yeah.
She stood there for a second, reminiscing, her fluttering blonde hair shining in the early morning sun.
It's very poetic. Anyway, I need to go home now. Also, if it sounds like I'm like mocking your game with my voices, that is certainly not my intention. It's just...
I don't think anybody was until you said it.
I just want to clarify, I have a very limited range of voices I can do, so just to differentiate the people.
I don't think anybody thought that I was mocking with my Jersey the Fonz either, but it is what it is. We're not voice actors, we're just putting voices on so
it's my special brand
it differentiates
of anxiety.
The characters.
I just want to clarify that for Leaves especially.
Eesh.
I'm not really sure.
She smiled.
I'll see you around.
See you. And then she disappeared, just as cautiously as she had arrived. With increased speed, I continued on towards school, fearing that this short delay would once more reinforce my persistent reputation of tardiness. Hey! Office dog! Nika, come here! Listen, this habit that you've gotten into lately, of only barking when we're streaming, is getting to be a little much, don't you think? Look, say hi to everybody. Say, hello, I am a brat. I am a brat. Okay? Okay.
Yes, hello. Oh, kissing my hand. Thank you for hand kisses. Leaves presents... Ooh.
Really?
Yeah.
Produced by Soka. Deluge! Sermon for the Dead. Okay, Ina's around again. That's a fun voice that absolutely destroys my throat. Oh, shush. Oh, shush. You're sitting on a wire, stupid. I'm trying to get it. What did you do? There. Hey!
Enough of that. Enough of that. Oh. Dog. How are you licking my hand and barking at the same time?
You got a achievement.
Oh, back to school. Cool beans. By the time I reached the ever-cramped office of the Sunday Abbot, I was fully out of breath. Okay, so we are still in high school. This is the same school from the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Ina, our ever-punctual editor-in-chief, sat waiting on me. There you are, Abe. Your irresponsibility never ceases to amaze me. Even after pushing back your starting time to 9 a.m., you still manage to be late. Every single week. Sometimes I wonder if there's even a point. I interrupted her. What about May? She isn't here yet.
Oh, y'all hired May.
But Ina had already begun opening the countless boxes that had been dumped haphazardly across the room. Well, at least you're not delaying the dispersal of any important headlines. We've appeared to hit a dull news season. Now that we're waiting on the municipal election campaigns to start, it seems that there isn't much to report on. What is wrong with you, dog? Can you stop it? She pouted. Isn't there any political gossip to write about? Nothing. They're keeping their lips sealed. But you just wait until the elections begin. The mudflinging will be out in full force. I'm sure what we're experiencing now is the silence before the storm. There'll be plenty of headlines before long. Part 1. Death and the Maiden. The door swung open. Why did I pick all the characters that were going to end up interacting at the very beginning of the game? And a blonde girl made a hurried entrance.
I know you.
Time for work. Let's do our best today. There. That's an attitude you can learn from, Abe. But she was 20 minutes late. May, ignoring my comment, had begun leafing through this week's edition of the Sunday Abbot. Cool, Ina. Your piece on the arched marble moth made it to the front page. Who would have thought? Shut up, Abe.
Because Ina's the editor, right? So she just puts things where she wants.
Editor-in-chief. Ever since May's addition to the delivery team, we had worked out ways to distribute the paper as efficiently as possible, more than having my regular working hours in the process. And although it was pleasant to free up some time on the weekends, the change had instantly presented Ina the opportunity to slash my already meager wages. I mean, what did he expect? If he's not delivering half the papers now, then there's another person on the team delivering the papers, then he's not going to get paid. Like, she's not slashing him from 2 cents to 1 cent a paper.
Yeah.
She's just slashing the amount of papers he's delivering.
Did you ever have a paper route as a kid?
For like a couple weeks.
Mm-hmm. I never had my own, but I had to do it for my brother and my sister who had theirs when they were, like, doing other stuff.
Well, yeah, so my brother and sister had paper routes when I was, like, 4.
Mm-hmm.
So I would have to wake up at, like, 5 in the morning and get in the car with them and, like, pick up the papers, help them put together the papers, drive around distributing the papers with my mom and my brother and my sister. So that sucked. But then when I had a paper route myself, it was more like a local town one instead of, like, the city paper.
Yeah.
So it was once a week. They would drop off mostly like a paper of ads and, like, samples. And you were supposed to give it out to the neighborhood. But, like, people were insane. People were crazy. Like, I had probably 200 papers-ish that I would have to give out. And, like, there was, like, a no delivery list. Because there's people who don't want a pile of ads and samples thrown at their door once a week. So, like, I had, like, a list of, like, don't deliver to this house. They don't want one. And so I delivered for a few weeks, and then the person in charge emailed me and said, we got complaints from this address saying that you didn't give them a paper. And I was like, well, I gave a paper to everybody who, like, wanted one. I was like, and they're like, well, they called in and they're complaining that they didn't get one. And I was like, oh, well, like, the only thing I can think of is maybe I confused their house with one of the do not deliver houses.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know what else to say. And they're like, well, be more careful next time. So I was like, okay. So then the next week, I delivered all the papers. I, like, quadruple checked all the houses I wasn't supposed to deliver to, and all the other papers got delivered. And then I got home, and I got, like, the next day, I got another email from my boss saying, like, that same house complained that they didn't get one again. And I was like, okay, either they are on the no delivery list that I was given,
Mm-hmm.
and they forgot that they put themselves on that list, and now they're complaining that they're not getting a paper, or they got their paper, and they're just complaining because they saw it was a new person, and they think that they can get more samples. Because, like, they were decent samples. They were like laundry detergent samples and stuff like that. So, like, I literally think that this house just clocked that it was a new delivery person, and they're like, oh, if I call in and say I'm not getting my stuff, they'll send her over again and I'll get extra stuff, and it'll be blamed on her. And I was like, I've already explained myself to my boss last week, and now this week they're saying the same thing to me. So, like, without any proof, like, what proof is there that I didn't give that house their paper, you know? So, like, if they're just gonna be yelling at me every week because somebody's complaining, but they have no evidence of what that person's stating, but they're gonna yell at me about it anyway, I was like, why am I collecting, like, $20 a week to do this? Like, it's pointless. So I was just like, you know what? I regret to inform you I'm giving you my 2 weeks notice, because, like, Jesus.
Yeah.
Jane the OG paperboy.
I had, like... For me, basically, if there was any sign that the person was home, they didn't get their paper that week. Because I remember being, like, chased off of door stoops. Be like, I never signed up for this. Why am I... And I'm like, I don't know. I'm 12. Like, I'm not in charge of this newspaper.
Well, that's the thing. Like, they're kids delivering newspapers. And you, like, see a new person, and you're, like, gonna call in and be like, I didn't get mine.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, if it was so important for you to get it, and, like, I definitely was giving it to you, but if it was so important for you to get it, flag me down on my route and be like, either I'm not giving you one because you're on my list, so you can be like, why aren't I getting one? And I can be like, you're on the no delivery list, so you had to have called and put yourself on that list at some point.
Mm-hmm.
And then they would know to take themselves off that list, or they just don't give a shit and they're lying to get more stuff, and I'm getting chewed out for it week after week, which I was not going to put up with. Not for the measly amount of money that they were paying me. Not happening. Anyway, we'll do some ASMR real quick. Fun stuff. That'll eventually be a playlist if I ever get around to it. Until then, enjoy the breaks. Anyway, I couldn't deny that I was facing a personal financial crisis. Back to the game. Boop. Come on, Abe. We'll do the tenement buildings together. Then after that, we can split up and do the rest of town. I might make you editor if this keeps going like... narrator, if this keeps going this way.
Okay.
After loading our delivery cart with 3 boxes of papers, we made our way in the direction of town. The area beyond the school was sparsely developed, with only a few mansions rising up from behind spiked gates, each surrounded by acres of woodland. While I pulled the cart, May looked over the subscription directory, stopping me at irregular intervals to deliver a paper or two at a house we passed by.
Can you smell it, Abe? Nature is blossoming. This hardly feels like work now that spring is in the air.
Work smells like work. No way to hide it. Oh, God. Eee. The scent of fresh printing ink may seem nice at first, but at the end of the day, I always have difficulty washing it from my hands.
Ooh, I do like the smell of a nice stack of newspapers.
And I end up smelling like I'm hot off the press, far into Sunday afternoon.
This just in, Abe.
Yeah, you're gonna be narrator, because I'm not doing all the lines every scene.
May smirked.
That's how it is, isn't it?
Love the voice acting. Thank you, Leaves! I'm especially proud of my Ina. I like my Ina. She sounds the exact amount of annoying that my voice can lend to a voiceover, which is very.
But to be honest, I really don't mind the smell. The ink we use has an earthly scent that pairs well with floral perfume.
Oh, God. Hey. May! May! When did you become so metropolitan?
She blushed.
Don't tease me!
Not much later, we arrived at a large residence. Out in the yard, I detected an eager face, clearly awaiting our arrival.
Hey, I'm gonna use this as like self-promotion. Leaves, if you want to add voice acting to this game ever, you give us a call. You take Leopold.
There you are, kids. Fashionably late, as always. Let me read the garbage you're disseminating today. Though not unfriendly, Councilman Leopold, the town's disgraced Marquis, always held a close eye on our attempts at journalism. It wasn't long since he himself had been the subject of countless headlines publicizing his dealings with the seedy underworld. But recently, Leopold appeared to have cleaned up his act.
Here you go.
Grumbling appreciatively, he browsed through the newspaper.
Yeah, I'll do it for free. I'll for sure do it for free. If I get to tell people that I voice acted in a game, 100% I'll do it for free.
Nothing written about you today?
Leopold smiled. No, it seems like Ina has retained her decorum. I don't mind your paper reporting the news, you see. But it's when the line between the public and private sphere blurs that I have my reservations about her journalism.
I like how this guy thinks that it was a private sphere that he was cohorting with, like, paid women while he was a councilman. That's private!
That was my private life. It isn't easy being a public figure.
Ooh, thumbs up, guy. Cool beans.
Yeah, if you like my Leopold. It becomes so much harder to indulge when everyone's watching you. You slip up once, make one tiny mistake, and it's magnified 1,000-fold.
Just a reminder from the first game, he slipped up and was forgiven for it, and then he was found doing worse things. And then wasn't forgiven for it.
Everyone has
just
their
to
own
remind everybody.
internal narratives of letting themselves get away with stuff. I nodded compassionately. Oh, I've been there. Who hasn't paid for some cohorting once in a while, you know what I mean?
Are you trying to mock my Abe?
No, I'm characterizing your version of Abe. It's a lonesome endeavor. Do you know what my party has done to me for the upcoming elections?
No.
They lowered me to 11th place on the ballot. Just out of spite over things that happened in the past. 11th
Hey,
place?
that's me. God! Step on Abe's toes. 11th place? What does that mean?
It means the end. Of my political career, that is. My party, AIR, only holds 8 seats in the town council, so I have exactly 0 chance of returning to my old position next year.
Maybe if you campaign really hard.
Oh, May. Forget about it. It's political homicide. He scowled.
Just think of all the free time you'll have.
You could play a video game or something.
You can relax and watch the birds fly by. Read on paper every week.
I might need it. To make matters worse, my deadbeat son is returning home this year after dropping out of university. He was majoring in German Romantic Theater, or something equally useless, but even that turned out to be too demanding for him. German is the greatest of all the romance languages, don't you think?
It's very romantic. How dare you?
I think Faust is one of the great romances. And now he can't find a job for the life of him.
If I could remember the German word for butterfly, I'd throw it in your face.
Hey, maybe if he wants to come work for the newspaper, he can deliver, as long as he don't take none of my wages.
Stop stealing my voice. What?
Oh, and now he can't find a job for the life of him. I thought your thing came up. Can't you kids put him to work delivering papers?
Can't you put my university student child to work delivering the high school paper? Not really. I think our team is pretty much complete.
He chuckled. Well, I can't blame you for keeping your distance. He's a real slacker. Hasn't worked a day in his life. And still, he'd be the type to consider himself too good for this kind of work. May jumped up.
No one is too good to deliver the Sunday Abbott.
Never mind. Bernard is his name. You might catch him loitering around town. I hope to have him off my hands soon.
Better start getting in the mental space of Bernard.
Okay. We said goodbye to the grumbling Marquis and made our way to the edge of town, where a working-class district lay that was littered with council houses.
Hey, it's Bubbo!
We were welcomed by a loud bark.
Good morning, Virus. You're up early. Virus here has been helping me on Saturdays by pulling the cart and protecting me against danger.
She reached out to give the dog a pat on the head. But instantly the dog lunged at her and sank its teeth deep into her arm. Oh, God.
Virus, that hurt!
Reluctantly, the dog retreated.
This dog's an asshole.
Please be more careful, Virus. We don't have time to play.
Look, I've got red play juice all over my arm.
I'm leaking red play juice!
I know this playground. Our work proceeded quickly, and it wasn't even lunchtime by the time we rounded the last tenement block. Fyrus followed us at a safe distance.
We're doing great, Abe. Virus and I'll take the cart and finish off the remaining suburbs. You should have enough papers left to cover the city center.
Are you sure are you sure you'll be safe?
Don't worry, Abe. I have Fierce by my side.
Don't worry, if anyone kills me, it'll be this dog.
That's what I was worried about.
I keep thinking I'm making clever comments, then I hit next, and the game makes that same comment.
I mean, that's a compliment. The game's being clever.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. Good job, Lane leaves.
It's Lane leaves.
I thanked May, and we each went our way. Ooh, this is a nice background. I haven't seen this before. Abbotsford town center isn't large, and as I made my way from letterbox to letterbox, I thought to myself that May had truly drawn the shortest straw by agreeing to cover the suburbs. May, however, appeared to derive a lot more satisfaction from the work than I did, so it seemed fair that she would take on the lion's share of the workload.
God, Abe is such a dick.
Whatever you tell yourself, Abe. Suddenly, I picked up a distinct laughter.
Oh god, it's Rika. Which one of us is doing Rika?
I think you are. Unless you have particular trouble with that voice.
Look, it's Abe, always the bearer of glad tidings. Oh, well, there you
I
go.
glanced in the direction of the sound and made out two girls, both of whom attended my high school.
This is Naomi. You may know her. She's on the swim team.
Naomi acknowledged me with a curt nod of her head and said nothing. Thank you, Naomi.
Making our jobs easier. So what are you girls doing here? Church isn't until tomorrow, right? Of course it isn't, but we're helping with preparations for Sunday service. We're here to do some routine maintenance on the church properties. Can't the church afford to hire specialists for that kind of work? It's just recurring tasks. Old buildings require a lot of upkeep. But please follow me. I want you to look at something. I keep making her voice too high. I definitely was using a lower voice in the first time.
As I followed the girls through the main entrance into the nave of the church, I could hear soothing tones seeping in through the walls.
That's the boys' choir. They're practicing in the auditorium. I hope you don't mind the sound.
She beckoned me onward. We headed down a short staircase and through a narrow corridor that led into a crypt that was situated directly underneath the church.
Come with me, I need to show you our church's crypt.
Don't mind the skeletons. In the faint light, I could make out the walls. They were covered with engravings that appeared worn and faded, as though they had once been exposed to the elements. Rika pointed upward.
There. There should be a light bulb above that door, but it isn't working anymore. Are you tall enough to look behind there?
I stretched myself to see over the casing of the door, where I could barely discern a small light socket.
I could probably reach it, but it's pretty high up. Can't you just use a stepladder?
Naomi giggled.
Oh no.
I mean, we could, but
Okay.
just think of all the spiders that live up there. What?
Why does she have a lisp?
To differentiate her from the other female voice that I did. Told you, limited range.
Alright.
The other female voice I was doing is like if I was ever to be like a guest on RuPaul's Drag Race or something. That would be like
that's your drag voice.
That's my drag voice. And
it's
then,
just soft spoken regular voice.
Yeah, and then Naomi is soft spoken regular voice with a lisp.
Can you try to do like not falsetto, but
I mean but like please help us, Abe. Now that you're here anyways. That is my like female voice. Like trying to be like an actual legit sounding female.
all right.
That's the
okay.
closest I got.
No comment. Okay.
Please help us,
no
Abe.
comment.
Now that you're here anyways. I reached over the door with my hand until I felt the smooth surface of an incandescent bulb.
Chronic called you sultry.
Thank you, Chronic. I'm assuming this is not supposed to be Rika, but this is the narration, so...
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
For leaves, that's maybe something to address. Carefully, I unscrewed it, setting a stream of fine dust pouring downward over my clothes.
I will say in the first game that happened a couple times too. Leaves, if
The bulb
just
came
so you
loose.
know, like every once in a while, narration would be labeled as somebody, or like somebody's dialogue that was clearly somebody's dialogue would just be labeled narration kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. The bulb came loose.
Voiceover on point.
I
Yo Blub's giving you a little too much credit, I think. Thanks for the bug.
I stepped down and held it to Rika's ear, shaking it, so that a rattling sound became clearly audible.
Okay. A burnt out bulb, just as I thought. But don't worry.
She dug around in her uniform pocket.
We bought a new one. This one uses advanced light-emitting diode technology. It should last much longer and save the church on electricity.
Yeah, this girl knows a lot about light bulbs. Smirking, I took the bulb from her and carefully screwed it into its socket. Oh, look at that.
See, I'm glad I ended up changing her, because in the first one, when she initially popped up, I kind of made her like the ditzy, like, stay away from my friend kind of voice, and then we were like a few lines in a dialogue, and I was like, oh no, she's supposed to be like the serious one. She's supposed to be the serious smart one, never mind. I'll check the stream. Cool beans. You can watch, our VOD is on YouTube, same username, at J McKenna Stories. So if you want to head on to YouTube, you can sift through it and see where we found bugs and stuff. Love the visual cue after the bulb getting replaced. Yes, that was a very nice touch. The background all lit up and stuff.
Yeah.
Little touches like that are nice. Leave says heart.
When I was nearly done, it began to emit a blinding light.
You can use the mouse. You're like reaching over for the keyboard. Yeah, there you go.
I had to catch myself to retain my balance as the entire crypt that had been steeped in darkness just a moment ago suddenly became illuminated. Also, I hate that when you're changing a bulb and like one where there's two switches and they're like both in different positions, so you like don't know if it's on or off, and you're just staring directly at it and it's like boom. Light!
I just like that
Let there be light!
This church has an underground crypt, and they were like, we need to run a light bulb to that room. We need to install a bulb above the crypt so that we can see in the crypt.
So you can read the Roman.
I mean, candelabras are clearly the way to have gone.
Oh, that's true.
You don't go into a crypt without a candelabra, come on.
That'd be more aesthetic. I had to catch myself to retain my balance as the entire crypt that had been steeped in darkness just a moment ago suddenly became illuminated.
There. That wasn't too much trouble, was it?
As my eyes grew accustomed to the light, I became aware of my surroundings. We were standing inside a windowless catacomb. Large stone slabs covered the walls around us, every one of them inscribed with time-worn glyphs.
Some places are better kept in darkness.
Poetic.
Abe, you coward. Oh, not at all. Do you see these stones? Do you know where they come from? I'm getting too high again. They look like gravestones to me.
Rika smiled.
That would be correct. You should take a look at the dates on them. Some date back to the early 1400s, when this town was still situated on an island. Did you know there used to be a different church on Abbott? It served the congregation. It served the congregation up until 1653. Its ruins can still be visited, close to the southern point.
Ooh, cool.
The old church even had an adjacent graveyard, but I'm afraid the encroaching sea made it for watery graves. And the salt water ate at the foundations of the church, rotting away the wood and making the stone walls tilt over threateningly.
Do you have like a Bible for the history of this town? like I mean that's a legit question. Like in TV show making, they would call it the show Bible, where you just write down like, oh, community, Britta doesn't like the color red because she said it in this episode, so then you just write it down in your show Bible so that you have that. And then like things like the history of the town that you've established, you write down in the show Bible. So like, do you have like the appendices in the Lord of the Rings, where it's like a third of this book is just like how the mountains were formed that they cross? Because it seems like for you, like going into the story writing and stuff, a lot like your mind kind of goes into those realms, which is really, really cool. But like, I'm just like wondering, like keeping it all straight.
How do you keep track?
Yeah.
When a large winter storm swept away the cemetery gates. It's too loud again. The thing, like in my mind, she talks like my sister, which is just my voice, but like more baritone. Like, I'm a freaking soprano. Mm-hmm. And my sister has the exact, like, it's the exact same voice, just if, like, literally, if we both talked into, like, an audio program, like,
and you dropped your pitch.
I would be up I would be up here and she'd be down here, and, like, yeah, if you upped her pitch or lowered mine, it'd be the exact same voice. So I'm just trying to do her voice, but, like, I keep slipping into mine. Same question here by Yoblob. People are interested in the history. It's not that. It's like every once in a while I'll be watching videos of myself, and like if I get like really serious or something, like, or like if I get mad at the dog, I can hear myself slip into my sister's voice, because it's like just that like slightly lower. It's just
interesting.
I hate it. I
can hear myself slip into a Canadian accent every once in a while when I listen to myself back. And I never think I have it in real life, so it's always weird to hear.
Leaves. I don't have enough of this, so sometimes there are inconsistencies, but usually I check at the end to see if the details are correct. I was gonna say, like if you're gonna do like a game like this where there's like a lot of like history involved, I think I would just like write like the history book first.
Yeah.
Basically, like, this is the town's history, this, like, here's the timeline and stuff, and then I'd have that history book so that when I was writing the dialogue, I could just go back, instead of, like, writing it as I went, which is kind of what sounded like what you were saying, where, like, once I typed it into the dialogue, I would, like, go back and write it down somewhere.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
think I would write
how a TV show does it.
Yeah.
Like, for the plot of this episode, it's important that this character doesn't like this thing, and then you have to, like, keep it consistent in the future.
But that's the type of thing where, like, they're writing that on a weekly basis, so that makes more sense to do it that way. But when you're doing, like, a game like this, and you know, like, this is where we're starting, this is where the game's gonna end, like, you have a start and an end point, I think it makes more sense to write all of that right out at the beginning and then refer back to it as you write the dialogue.
There's a really cool series of books where it's just like, the book is called Alaska, and I can't remember who wrote them, but like the one that's called Alaska, like it starts with like just like the geographical processes that formed the state of Alaska, and then it goes into like the gold rush, and so like it's all this like real historical stuff, and then it just inserts fictional characters into it. But by the time you get to the fictional characters, you're so ingrained into the history of this place that it's
Oh, hi, Peppers.
more believable.
Leave said, don't touch the mouse yet. I haven't read that. Leave said, again, it's probably worth keeping a notebook with these details. But I'm not organized enough. But when you review the script, most inconsistencies are ironed out. That makes sense. I mean, it's definitely like a style type thing too. Like, I know I'm very much more OCD, and I know Jay is very much more OCD. I've seen the books. So, like, I do know that, like, in our case, it's going to be the type of thing where, like, that isn't going to be, that's going to be entirely written out before we even go to do the dialogue. But I can see that being, like, annoying for someone who isn't incessantly organized like we are.
Yeah. I find, like, I mean, I definitely, like, as organized as I think I am, or I think I'm being, I always find a second set of eyes is very, very helpful. The most recent script I wrote, it was very important that the character was born in a certain year, but then I also said the character was the wrong age for having been born in that year. So it's like little, and I didn't notice until it was submitted to the person that I had to submit it to, so it was just like, hopefully they don't notice.
I do think out most of the world building before starting, but I don't have an easy access place to check it, but it would be better to have this. Noted. For anybody thinking about making their own game as well. Okay. When a large winter storm swept away the cemetery gates, one dark December night, the community decided it was time to build a new and more splendid church on higher-laying land. That's the building we're now standing in. Construction began immediately, although work was halted many times in pursuit of new funding. All building supplies had to be transported from the mainland, and when funds ran out, most stones were taken from the old church to continue the project. After 40 years of construction, the new church was completed, and our place of worship was moved to this new location. The dead, however, stayed behind in their old cemetery. So there's just a bunch of dead bodies on the coastline? Is that what she's saying?
I think she's calling those dead people lazy. They didn't want to move.
There are remains of our forefathers languished beneath the skeleton of a decrepit chapel, constantly threatened by the washing sea. Well, Yo Blob liked your joke. And the Reverend... Oh! Ooh! Yeah, Leaves. Okay, how do you pronounce her last name? Is it Cooper? Is it Kuiper? Is it Cooper or Kuiper? I need to know. It was driving me insane. I ended up going with Cooper, but, like, I don't know. How do you say her last name? Write it out phonetically. I need to know, please.
We shall await your
Please.
reply.
Yes, we'll take long sips of our drinks. Like that. I don't know what that is! Do you know what that is?
No, is that like something out in the cosmos, like an asteroid belt?
So, okay, hang on. Is it...
Kuiper? The UI in it sounds like mouse. Cowper. Kuiper?
Sounds like...
Oh, that was you.
Yeah, that was me.
So yeah, like
Mouse
Cowper.
So it's Cowper? Oh wait, why did this do that? Okay, it went back. Alright, that's fine. Not sure if I know how to pronounce... like Quipper, because like UI is usually like that would be like Quipper. How to pronounce Quipper belt though?
Oh, okay, yeah. It's a donut-shaped region of icy objects beyond the orbit of Neptune. So it's the one that, like, they were like, oh, Pluto's a planet. And they were like, wait, no, it's not. It's just, like, part of a belt.
Okay, but how does Google say to pronounce that? Like, pronounce, yeah. Oh, they're saying Kuiper.
Can I play this sound?
I mean, you can, but it's...
Kuiper belt.
Yeah, Kuiper.
Kuiper.
All right,
Mystery solved.
So Kuiper is Kuiper. So we all learned that today. And you're saying her last name is Cowper. Okay. I will amend this and say that in the first video I called her Cooper the whole time.
Doggo.
Poppers, what are you doing? Hey, Nika. Oh, hello. What are you barking at? You're not supposed to be barking. Can you go get your toy? Go get your toy. Where's your lamb chop?
Do you have a toy?
Where's your lamb chop?
Where's your toy?
You were on your way to lamb chop. Why did you stop?
Is this your toy?
That is one of 17 lamb. So our dog freaking loves these stupid things. And because this company knows how to make money, they release like 2 or 3 of these every freaking month. There was like 7 for Easter. There was like spring ones. This one's the Valentine's Day one that says "Be Mine," but there were like several other Valentine's Day ones. So the dog has about 20 of these, and the only reason she only has 20 is because she's killed the other ones. For anyone who has a dog and wonders what toys they like, it's freaking lamb chop toys. For anyone who grew up in the 90s. That sounds good. Yeah, okay. Cool beans. We've all... There we go. And the Reverend Cowper, my great forefather, decided something was to be done. Oh, am I doing this now?
I'm gonna try and make you do it, yeah.
You're gonna try to make me do it. Now that work on the new church was finished, the villagers commenced with the process of moving the dead to the new location. They began with the graves that were in immediate danger of being swallowed by the sea. But, as you can imagine, it was unpleasant work. No one found joy in digging up old bones. And the graveyard relocation project grew into an effort that spanned multiple centuries, often lying still for decades. It wasn't until the beginning of the 20th century that the last of the graves was moved to dry land. Shouldn't that be were?
Unless they mean the very last one.
The last of the graves was moved.
If they mean the very last one, then was is right. But if you mean like the last of the graves, as in like the last couple, then it would be were.
My brain just doesn't like reading that.
Rika glared at us ominously, her ink-black hair glistening in the virgin lamplight.
Okay, wait. Glare. But even then, they say at least a few graves must have been overlooked. Their contents swept into the endless depths of the ocean.
It should probably be were.
It should probably be were. Okay.
Noted.
Noted. Alright. Oh, Abe. I apologize. We've been keeping you from your work. And to think that it's almost lunchtime. Won't you have lunch with us? Naomi has packed sandwiches. I like how she's like, oh, Abe, I'm so sorry. We've been keeping you from your job. But do you also want to go get lunch with us? We have sandwiches.
Yeah, no wonder.
We have sandwiches.
No wonder you're not getting paid very well, Abe.
Abe does...
Hey, I did half of my job, and now I'm going to go eat some sandwiches.
Well, I like how this game began with, like, I have a new appreciation for this job that I was always complaining about in the first game. And then you start playing it, and he's still just equally as shit at the job. It's just, it gets done because May's doing it now.
But like, I do think it's cool that you have the internal dialogue of this character and then the external, so you can see where his mind is and how he is perceived by other people, like at the same time. It's a cool. I don't know how. I'm sure that's fairly common in graphic novels. Like,
Okay, this is a visual. You keep calling it a graphic novel
Oh, I do,
because you keep
yes.
saying that we're making it, like that Jay and I are making a graphic novel too. They're visual. They're different. They're different. Graphic novels look more like comic books.
I'm a huge nerd. This is just like just slightly outside of my scope of knowledge.
Visual
I
novels are
apologize.
like these. So like a visual novel game, it can be kind of like this where you're mostly just reading a story and like seeing the pictures as you go along, or they can be interactive, which is more like this where you'll have choices and then that affects the ending. It's like when we were kids, because we're both similar age, when we were kids and we had like the choose your own adventure storybooks.
Well,
You
yeah,
would like
I
read
get-
something and
I
it's
get
like
that that's what
if
this
you do
is.
this, flip to page 20, and if you do this, flip to the next page. Like it's basically the evolution of that
Yeah.
into video games.
And I get that. I just I'm
which
just
is why I
calling it
like
the
them
wrong
so
thing.
much, because like it's heavy nostalgia for me, even though I don't think it's supposed to be. Because like I think most people that play visual novels know of them through like the scope of like, oh, like a lot of visual novels came out of Japan really early on when games were being put together, and then like they were telling such like interesting and weird stories that like, again, Japan has like some crazy storytellers that like go way far left with the stuff that they end up writing. So like it was a medium of like, wow, these stories are batshit crazy, this is fun to read, drama kind of thing. But like for me, it's the nostalgia of like those old books in the 90s where it's just like flip to page 20 or flip to page 25.
Yeah, I've also wanted to write one of those. But yeah, I just like the idea that like because we have his internal dialogue as well as his external dialogue, we can see kind of like flaws or quirks in his character that we wouldn't normally see. Like we see that he's someone who's like, "Hey, Jesus, can a guy get paid around here?" And then he's like, yeah, instead of going to work, I'm gonna change a light bulb and go get sandwiches. I like that. It's cool.
I mean, you put my accent on that, so I don't know if I should be.
And also, like, for whatever reason, we, like, characterize his internal dialogue with a different voice than his external.
I read it all the same,
That might be
though.
on us, but...
I don't know. In my mind, his internal dialogue sounds like a lot more sophisticated than his external dialogue. So like his external to me is like Jersey fawns, but like his inner dialogue makes me think like, oh, maybe I should have given him like a British accent instead. Like he feels like he's trying to like carry himself as like a sophisticated, uppity, high class person, but then like when he talks, he just sounds stupid every time. He sounds stupid. Hey ma. Forget the sauce. Come on, Naomi. After our hard work, I say we deserve a break. We'll finish decorating in the afternoon. Okay, so they invited me for sandwiches, but I'm... Okay, I am going with them.
We climbed back up the stairs and settled among the pews. Is that me?
Yeah.
I made these at home. Please, let us share them together. I hope you didn't have any other plans for lunch.
That lisp that you gave her is real inconsistent. It's just disappearing whenever it wants.
I shook my head.
Usually I don't even get around to eating on days like this. These.
Naomi handed me a sandwich.
I like how you ended up switching to narrative somehow. So how have you been doing, Abe? Are you fully prepared for finals?
I grumbled a reply.
Oh, and I haven't received your submission form for Easter break yet. Could you hurry up and fill one out? We're running short on applicants.
I looked up from my sandwich.
Easter break? Haven't you seen the notices at school? It's our yearly outing, where we stay at the beach for a few days, as a last escapade before finals start. We'll hold nightly study sessions, but mainly it will be a carefree vacation. Naomi and I are on the organizing committee together.
Rika took out a small form from her purse.
Please fill this out as soon as possible. You wouldn't want to miss Easter break. And let me know if you think of anyone else who would be interested in attending. As registration is low this year, anyone is welcome, not just graduate students. Is he a high school student or a college student? Graduate student is a college, isn't it? You can't be a graduate student in high school, can you?
Well, college would be post-grad, because, like, you've graduated. So graduate student, would that be, like, final year of high school?
No. I'm very confused of the agings of the people. Thank you, Coffee Streambot. Always interrupting. Will you join us on Easter break? I'd love to. Or, hey, I'd love to. I knew you would. Please fill this out and hand it to me on the earliest possible occasion. I think I'm too high again.
I accepted the form, slipping it into my pocket thoughtlessly.
I hope you own a pair of swimming trunks.
I hope you got a bikini.
Like how we had...
And this is kind of
we brought Curtis in as the guest to be a pervert.
That was all Abe. I'm just so in character.
You're not reading Abe.
It's called being an actor.
Uh-huh.
I'm reading Abe's internal thoughts.
That's so...
Emphasizing that I really needed to return to work, I thanked the girls and said goodbye. Okay, so he is trying. And with a well-filled stomach, I moved onward through the Saturday streets, which had come alive with the bustle of pedestrians enjoying their weekend. But I couldn't deny that my conversation with Rika and Naomi had stirred a certain anxiety in me. The truth was that finals were rapidly approaching, and my ever-increasing obligations towards the school paper, as well as my leisurely approach to life, had not left much time for study. What are you laughing at?
His ever-increasing obligations towards the paper, even though they now have an extra person who's doing more than half the work that he used to do. But his obligations are ever-increasing.
I resolved half-heartedly to begin preparing that very evening. In the meantime, my work was coming along nicely. In less than an hour, I'd managed to complete the houses around Central Square and the shopping district, where very few subscribers lived.
Hashtag Abe feels.
When suddenly...
Oh, it's another new girl! Or no, is that the original new girl?
I was struck by a strong sensation of déjà vu.
Outfit change? Hairstyle change.
Same young woman I had encountered earlier that day.
Outfit and hairstyle change.
Turns out she was one of the dead people in the graveyard.
I mean, that's a nice touch. I like the fact that she changed her outfit because it's a new day.
And she appeared just as lost as she'd previously been.
Unless this is her twin. Good afternoon. Out and about again?
I've never seen you before in my life. Pepper spray.
Oh no, it's the same girl. She was all you.
Was this me? Yeah.
Yep.
Is this my original?
This was your original girl
Okay.
voice.
I am. Thank you for your clear directions this morning.
Oh, it was this morning.
I found my way home in a heartbeat. You're so knowledgeable about the layout of this town.
It comes with the job description.
I presented her with an issue of the Sunday Abbot.
Here, take one. We always have plenty left at the end of the day.
Newspaper?
Ina's gonna be pissed. You're just giving out paid subscription.
Does Ina know that you're printing way more than you need to?
Yeah, that seems like an oversight for that editor-in-chief. outfit change is due to different artists.
Huh.
I mean, I like it. It makes it feel like she, like, found her way home and then, like, got ready for the day, put on a new outfit, brushed her hair a bit, went back out, kind of thing. I feel like it's realistic.
Yeah, I liked it too. It's a silver lining to a weird situation.
Yo, Blob, stop using that creepy-ass face. Get your creepy-ass face out of here. Creepy-ass face.
Curiously, she looked it over. That's wonderful for a town like this. It sounded a little condescending, Marissa. Hey, that's cool for a town like this. Are you on the board of editors?
The board of editors? Oh, no. Oh, God. Not officially, although I stand in at times. Baby prick.
You dingus. She smiled. Well, it must be exciting with the elections coming up.
Chronic says new looks for new days equals god tier. I agree. I always think it's cool when, like, the game, like, that's kind of like, this is like a sidestep, but, like, that's kind of one of the reasons I like One Piece, is that literally they're always changing their outfits. They're like, oh, we're on a new island, let's buy new clothes.
That is cool.
Or like,
yeah.
oh, it's like a new day at sea, we've changed our outfits again. Like, it's like, yeah, like, we wouldn't have one shirt and one skirt and be wearing that constantly while we battle people to death every other week kind of thing. It's like, yeah, shit gets dirty. Yeah, the money that you're making has to go somewhere. It's going to the new clothes. Like, that, I always like details like that.
Yeah.
LD. What's LD? Yo, Blob, what's LD? Or is that the shortcut, kind of, for the creepy faces that you're making? And then you effed it up. That one? Alright.
Thank you so much for this. I'll make sure to get a subscription.
Please don't feel I almost said obligated. Please don't feel obliged to.
Also, that kind of reminds me for Leaves or for you, Jane. Where is this game available? How much is it? Where
This
do people
game,
find it?
as well as its predecessor, are both available on Steam, and they're both free to play.
Oh,
Free for all to enjoy, etc. So if anybody's interested in the first game, which I think we might, like, now that we played a bit of the first game and a bit of the second game, we'll probably sit down and play our way through the whole first game during streams, like maybe once a week or something like that. We'll play through the first game and, like, get to an ending, so that this makes more sense. If Leaves wants to come back for another developer weekend, we can play this one again, since this is your new game. But they're both on Steam. They're both available for free to everybody. The first one is called Deluge, Threnody of Crashing Waves. And this one is Deluge, Sermon for the Dead. Download it today.
Original Yoblob says they'll defs download it.
Yeah, free game, people. Go play your free games. Support visual novels.
Do you have, like, a PayPal or something where if people just want to, like, donate $2 or something, they can do that? Or you just,
Or do you, like, kickstart your games or something when you make them? Or do you have, like, a coffee account? Or, what's that other one called? My Fans? No. OnlyFans? I think there are some artist OnlyFans accounts, but there's, like, something similar to OnlyFans that's, like, just for artists, and I can't remember what it's called. Anyway, plug your stuff, Leaves. Make sure to get that in there.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I already read that.
No, I definitely will, as soon as I get home. Which is in that general direction, isn't it? She gestured northward, towards the edge of town. I sighed.
Follow me. I'll pass by your place in a little bit. Just a few more steps along the way.
Stops.
Oh, stops, yes. Just a few more stops along the way.
Oh, thank you, Abe. I got lost again. I knew I shouldn't have taken that right turn at the mini-mart.
Leave says that they don't really have a way to donate to them, but they may do a paid DLC in the future. But these games are mainly for the lulz. Gotcha.
Three.
Free old passion project.
Does Steam still charge you like $100 to upload?
Publish?
To publish, yeah.
I mean, when we were looking into it for ours, it did seem like Steam still charged $100 to upload. Unfortunately.
I'll say it because I think you technically send an NDA and you're not supposed to, but like the fucking back end of Steam is a nightmare. It's ridiculous. I followed my course with Marissa trailing behind me until we approached Fairview Apartments. Ooh, this is pretty. Outside of the main entrance, she turned to me, standing so close that I could feel her breath. You saved me again. I would be lost without you. Please come inside. I'll make you some tea. As I have no other way to thank you. I am resisting so hard for giving Abe some internal dialogue.
I could think of a way or two you could thank me.
Exactly. We made our... this isn't her. We made our way up to the Spartan staircase and through a narrow corridor before entering her flat.
Leave says, yeah, I think $70.
Oh, yeah, for publishing on Steam.
What currency is that, though? Is that 70... Because I know you said you were on Central European time. So is that, like, 70 euros?
Like you, because yeah, if I said 100 and they're saying 70, that'd be about the U.S. to Canadian conversion. But
well, no, that'd be like, because they're Central European, so like if they're talking euros, I think it's like 100 USD, which would be about 70 euros,
okay.
And it would be about 130 Canadian. Fun stuff.
I apologize again for causing you so much trouble. Normally, I'm very independent. You should realize that. You have a very nice apartment. It's just that this is my first time living on my own.
It's a very nice first apartment.
She wrung her hands nervously. I mean, it does look like it's a bachelor suite, but...
I mean, does it? You can only see like a couch and like a TV and like
couch,
a
TV, kitchen, but it's all one room.
I mean, yeah, you don't see an entrance to another room, but you also don't see a bed, so I'm assuming there's a bedroom.
She wrung her hands nervously. I mean, when I was in college, I lived with roommates in a shared apartment. We were independent, but we divided the chores. I mainly did the laundry.
Leave says, oh, it's 100 now. I think they raised the price. That sucks.
And the other girls would cook and clean. And now that I'm living by myself, it feels like I have to do everything alone. I've been getting lost around town, even though this place is far smaller than the city, but I've also been getting lost in my head. I think it's just that I've had so much on my mind. Just a minute, the tea should be ready. She bounded into the kitchen, where I could hear her rattling with teacups.
It's a weird-ass kitchen.
And I waited in the empty studio apartment, which, although nearly furnished, still had a certain impersonal feel to it, as though it hadn't fully been made into a home yet. It does kind of look like it's like an IKEA display in a way, like it's a house, but not a home.
There's no pictures on the walls.
But yeah, studio apartment, so it is like a bachelor.
Yeah, so she just doesn't have a bed?
Oh,
She's sleeping on the couch.
if you think of this as like the Seinfeld apartment, we're the fourth wall, so it's behind the
So there's
fourth
a
wall
so she
somewhere.
has a couch. So hang on, make sure this is on camera. So she has a couch, a coffee table. Wait, couch, coffee table, bed.
You only got so many options in a studio.
I mean, it would make sense if like the bed was like a futon or something, but or the couch was a futon or something. But that's like a couch.
I made Earl Grey. I hope you like it, as it's all I've got. She let out a melancholy sigh. Oh, I wish I had green tea. Student life is nothing like the real world, you know? At college, you're sheltered, cared for. You have your path set out for you. But now that's all over. A grand, open future beckons me.
So why did you come to Abbotsford?
Oh, I like this town. I used to live here back when I was very small. Didn't I tell you?
I mean, she definitely did.
She did.
Abe, Jesus.
And I'm not just freeloading. I have a job. A real job. Oops, I think I might have clicked past something. Oh, okay. Although, I won't be starting it just yet. She grew silent.
What kind of job?
Oh, I can't tell you. Not until next week. I'm the new mayor. I'm succeeding that guy who slept with prostitutes.
Surprise, I used to be Bernard.
I have been wondering that too, actually. Because it's a secret. And I know what you journalists are like. She shivered giddily. How would you know what journalists are like unless your dad used to be a public figure?
I really hope she used to be Bernard.
But I have a job. I can't even fathom it.
I really, really want her to used to have been Bernard.
That would be amazing. I'm on the fast lane to success.
Because then your voice would be perfect.
Exactly.
It'd be amazing.
Some people call me Bernadette. I don't know why. Soon, it won't be lukewarm tea, but champagne filling these cups.
She's got high hopes.
She broke out into an animated laughter, and I felt a strange tingle make its way down the back of my neck. Marissa got up. She walked over to the corner of the room to pick up her shopping bag, which she had discarded thoughtlessly upon entry, and brought out a packet of cinnamon buns. Here, have something to eat. It's past lunchtime.
Why does everybody keep giving us food?
That should definitely, just spelling-wise, be P-A-S-T, by the way.
Grammar knowledge.
I was about to decline, but she had already handed me a roll, and I saw no polite way to refuse it.
Oh no, that's just a friend of mine.
Get out of here, friend. Thought we got an achievement.
I think I turned the overlays on those off anyway, but I'm not entirely sure.
Oh, so maybe it didn't show
I don't
on
know
the
if it shows
Twitch?
up or not.
Okay. I was about to decline, but she had already handed me a roll, and I saw no polite way to refuse it. I realize you must be on your way, but you won't be able to deliver papers on an empty stomach. After no less than 3 cinnamon buns, I exited Fairview Apartments. The day had progressed, and I was borne down, physically as well as mentally, by the weight of the newspapers that remained in my bag. And though I encountered people sitting in their gardens, basking temptingly in the early spring sun, I vowed solemnly not to be held up until I had delivered the remainder of my route.
He's still working. Jesus. I thought he was gonna finish that off on the way to her place.
Well, if you stop and have a meal with every woman you meet, add some time to your day. It wasn't much later that I came across a slouched-over figure, slowly making its way in my direction.
Oh, this is about to ruin our Bernard theory. Oh, okay, never mind. Honey, how are you getting along? Oh no, I lost the voice. I lost the voice!
Despite her worn appearance, she flashed me a thin smile.
I'm okay, Abe. I worked really hard. I only have the West End left.
I can do this for now.
Yeah.
Beerus left more than an hour ago. I think he decided he'd rather spend the afternoon sleeping in the sun.
She cast a glance at my messenger bag.
But wow, you look like you're almost done. You must have had a tough afternoon.
Eating sandwiches and cinnamon buns with all the ladies. I chuckled awkwardly.
You know. Oh, sorry, I forgot to read that.
No, I've been reading it for this.
I'm really tired, and to be honest, I'm starved. How about we stop for a late lunch together?
My belly protested in all its overindulgence. While I had been spending the afternoon eating and socializing, May must have been working uninterruptedly. I could hardly reject her offer by confessing that I'd already eaten 2 full lunches. I like how he considers a cinnamon bun a full lunch.
Oh, God, if you do it right. I think he said he had like 4.
What? I don't remember reading that. She
You
had
said-
4, and she gave him 1.
He said like later after leaving that day, having eaten no less than and like
Did he?
several. So I
Was I
can't
just
remember
not
the
paying
exact
attention?
number, but there he ate several cinnamon buns, which
I am curious where the story is going. Well, that is the point of a visual novel, yo blob. Good. Any validity to their theories? You know what? I'd love to. It's just... She stared at me hopefully. I've been feeling a little nauseous lately. I'm going to finish my work quickly before going to bed. But please eat something for my sake.
You're ill?
A concerned expression had come over her.
Nauseous? It could be fever. You better hurry home quickly. Let me deliver the rest of your papers.
yeah, and do my homework too.
I could feel the blood rushing to my head. No! Oh, God. Voice crack! No!
Go through puberty, you know. My voice cracks sometimes.
I'm fine! Hard work will set me free. Bent over in shame, I hurried towards the last mailboxes of the day. Bloop. Bloop, bloop. In the months leading up to the finals, the school days were short and filled with repetition.
Spring has come early this year. Look outside. The tilly are budding. But it won't last long, you know?
I feel like I've lost her voice too.
If we have a cold spell in April, the new foliage will freeze to death. Nature punishes presumptuousness harshly.
I like the little music used. It just kind of sets the scenes. They're nice touch.
She turned away from the window.
But anyway, the two of you did a great job last Saturday. I'll need you to keep up that attitude over the coming weeks, as the electoral campaigns will be starting next Wednesday. Although we're just a weekly paper, we're the only dedicated news source this town has. That means whenever something big happens down here, our reporting will be the focus point of all national media.
If something big happens.
These elections are a chance for the Sunday Abbot to break into the national headlines.
I'm assuming this is supposed to be Ina.
So I'll need you at your sharpest.
She let out a giggle. I don't think I can giggle in her voice.
And you should hear this.
Not even gonna try.
Nope.
Currently, the parties are in the process of announcing their leading candidates. Flock 05, the town's second party, just published a press release this morning. They have been in trouble lately, as their precious frontrunner was arrested on domestic abuse charges.
Previous.
He hasn't been convicted yet,
Well said.
but it's a bad look for them. Ahead of the coming elections, Flacco 5 has been searching frantically for a new leader.
I can neither confirm nor deny their theories.
Just take a look at who they've chosen.
Flacco 5 presents new frontrunner candidate.
I said that. That was one of my theories.
She presented...
Oh no, that's narrator. She presented me with a press release on her phone. I immediately recognized the accompanying photograph. I coughed.
A person with no experience at all. Apparently, she just graduated from law school, dabbled a little in student politics. And she did some modeling work.
She says she knows how to do laundry.
Ina snickered.
I couldn't think of a more incompetent candidate. But let's not be too quick to write her off.
Are you sure that's her? Are you sure that's her? She looks an awful lot like someone I crossed paths with last Saturday.
Crossed paths with?
I think so, but she didn't strike me as the type to lead a political movement, if you know what I mean. What was her name again? Marissa.
Marissa Roosevelt. Her name is in the press release. And you're saying you ran into her? Maybe she was in town for deliberations. She'll probably move here sometime soon. You need to be a legal resident of Abbotsford to run for office.
I smiled. She has an apartment already, though I'm not sure if she's fully aware of its location. Ina ignored my remark. From the sound of her right index finger rapidly tapping against her skirt, I could tell that she was coming up with a scheme. She turned to me with a serious expression in her eyes.
I think this could be a good thing, Abe. This year, I want to take a deep dive into the individual campaigns. Flacco 5, as a movement, has been on the rise for a good number of years.
Their politics are popular under a large section of disenfranchised voters.
Some voices speculate that they could even form a sincere challenge to the political establishment of our town.
Heck yes.
I want to kick off the campaign season with an extra thick edition of the Sunday Abbot, providing an overview of all contesting parties.
Extra thick? My shoulders still felt cramped from last Saturday.
I want an in-depth interviews with the leading candidates of every party. I can interview the town mayor and the smaller opposition leaders. But I'd like you to interview Marissa.
I swallowed. An interview? Me?
Yeah, you. It sounds like you have one foot in the door with her already. We can't let an opportunity like this go to waste. So, will you conduct the interview for me?
I mean, do I even have a choice?
Those are very, in character for Abe responses.
You don't. But I find it important to grant you the illusion of control. Please have that interview on my desk by Friday. This is a large responsibility. Please don't disappoint me.
Ina took place at her desk, ordering papers and humming to herself in a contented manner. It appeared that my presence was no longer needed, and I was already on my way to the door, mind set on returning home before Ina could lay any more unsolicited work on my shoulders, when a question sprang to mind. I turned around. Hey, Ina, I was wondering, have you ever been on Easter break? Ina looked up from her paperwork, a gloomy expression forming in her eyes.
Easter break? Why? Are you going?
I'm not sure. And are you? I lost his voice again.
Easter break? Me? That's where the stuck-up types loaf around on the beach under the pretense of study.
How are they stuck up and loafing around?
Yeah, I felt that may be a bit of a contradiction as well.
I have absolutely no interest in being a part of that.
I remember this background from the first game.
Okay, you're doing narration because I've done all the voices lately.
Before I could even make it to the end... Oh, you give me the one with this name again. Let me...
Cowper.
Cowper, okay. Before I could even make it to the end of the corridor, I was cornered by Rika Cowper.
Just Cowper. Cowper.
Abe, I'm so glad to run into you. You're just the person I was looking for.
That can't be true.
Oh, but it is. For I have something newsworthy to report.
Our other light bulb went out.
And for that reason, I need a journalist.
She stared up at me with pleading eyes, although I could detect a certain playfulness in her voice.
Sometimes, involving the press is the only way to achieve true righteousness in this world. They don't call you guys the Fourth Estate for nothing, do they?
I really don't think I'm the right person for this. Ina's in her office. All leads can be submitted to her.
Rika's face fell.
Come on, Abe. You know how Ina feels about me. Please come with me for a bit. I want to show you something.
She gonna show me another crypt?
Will you spare me your time?
Just for once.
Sure, just for once.
Oh, you have no idea how thankful I am. For this truly is a matter of the greatest importance.
Do you have different, what are they called, awards? Achievements? For, like, taking different paths? Like, oh, you did all the right answers with this character, for instance. Are there different achievements for that?
Usually in a visual novel, there'll be, like, an achievement for, like, good ending Rika. But you can only get good ending Rika if you picked the perfect answer for her every time, kind of dealy.
That's kind of what
That's usually how it works.
Yeah, that's sort of what I'm wondering from Leaves, though, is if, like...
I'm just clarifying.
If that's in... Yeah, I know. But if... Yeah. Begrudgingly, I followed her. Rika walked next to me in a confident pace, forcing me to increase my tempo to keep up with her.
I do like that the background music sped up.
Oh, it did. And as we walked, she seemed thrilled with herself, grinning with a mysterious sense of anticipation.
Leave says there are achievements for each good and bad ending.
Nice. Have you talked with Jay about any of that stuff, or is that, like, later?
I mean, I know that, like, there's plans for achievements, but I don't think either one of us has looked into, like, what you need to do to add achievements on Steam into a game or anything like that. Because I know one of the options we're looking at for the game creator lets you export to, like, PlayStation and Nintendo and stuff. So, like, achievements would be, like, a big thing to have. Like, we would need to have trophies if we exported to PlayStation. Like, that's literally a law of PlayStation now. And, like, again, like, it's pretty simple to, like, have one for, like, every good and bad ending, and then, like, along the way, just, like, if you hit, like, certain goals, like, you end chapter 1, it's like, completed chapter 1, here's an achievement.
You're right. Yeah.
Kind of thing, so, like, Leaves also says, and some more along the way, and a few depend on the choices you make. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. And as we walked, she seemed thrilled with herself, grinning with a mysterious sense of anticipation.
Was it hard to code the achievements, Leaves? Like, do you have to put, like, a certain line of code into the game to make that pop on Steam? Or do you, like... Is there, like, a weird way on Steam to be like, this is where an achievement should happen? Like, I am curious about that.
Yeah, I ignored achievements the one time I was working on Steam. Though I'm not easily thrown off my game, her lingering silence made me the slightest bit uncomfortable.
Achievements are easy to implement in Rempe. They are coming to the first game this summer. Okay, so
Nice.
it's more like a line of code in the game then. Okay. So how did your service go yesterday?
She moaned favorably.
Is that just like a or like no more lights that burnt out? Preparation is key. No ritual can go without rehearsal. Ritual is rehearsal, or so they say.
She shot me an inquisitive glance.
Leaf says, check Steam achievement support in the engines you are considering. Because I know the one engine we were looking at says that it exports directly to Steam OS. So I'm assuming it'd be easy to implement it in that, but like RPG Maker and Visual Novel Maker don't mention that. So I think that would be more along the line of like adding code. But it's good to know that like Rempe lets you do it, because Rempe doesn't mention that in the tutorial. I don't think they've updated their tutorials since Rempe came out. Playing through that tutorial made me want to pull my hair out.
Oh,
There's so many.
I saw some of those streams.
There's so many grammatical mistakes, or like, let's show an example of this, and then like their example doesn't even really show it. Like, it's like the example of scroll over changing the button appearance. They went from black to navy blue. And it's just like, okay, I can barely see that. Like, why is this, like, why didn't you make it, like, black to red? Or, like, something super, it doesn't have to
Yeah.
look good. Just make it super obvious, because, like, you're supposed to be demonstrating something. I wanted to rip my hair out, but, yeah.
And kind of towards the, when there's a good moment, can we take a 5-minute bathroom break?
I mean, you can take a bathroom break while we are walking down Lighthouse Lane, or Lightkeeper's Lane. You want to do a bathroom break? We are basically, I think, at 2 hours, or a little over 2 hours. Okay. Yeah, Leaves, if you're okay with still going with this, because I know you originally said 1 to 3, but, like, we don't really have a scheduled end time in. Except, like, as long as we're, like, done before 6, I don't care. Because we need to take a break for dinner, and I need to install your game for tonight for the Curtismutter community fan game Construction Snake demo version 2.0 coming at 8 p.m. MST tonight.
Yeah, stay tuned, folks.
But yeah, Leaves, I don't know how long that you planned on sticking around for, because we can keep going. Because there's really no point, because, like, it's
And I'd
it's
like
a
to
little
at least get
past
to the end of the chapter.
It's a little past 3, but Leaves originally when we were talking said 1 to 3. So like, there's no point taking a break if Leaves is about to leave.
Oh, okay.
Is kind of my point. So
Well, while we wait for Leaves, I am going to just... We were walking down Lightkeeper's Lane, a picturesque trail that led to the woodlands in the southeast. Great plum trees rose up on both sides of the path, arcing together into a canopy of green. I love when trees do that.
really, you need to travel to Japan. Rika.
Yes.
That thing you want to show me.
I paused for a second to catch my breath. Oh, by the way, was it Rika that it kept showing the crotch shot of in the first game?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's another thing. Leaves.
So I was going to make a joke, like, that thing you want to show me, is it under your dress? But then I was
yeah. There's so Leaves. Okay, I am not sure when I have to go, but I'll stay as long as possible. Okay, well, in that case, yeah, we'll
take a break soon. and
we'll
come
take
back.
we'll take a break in a minute so that you can use the washroom, and then we'll go until Leaves tells us that they have to leave. But yeah, Leaves. If you end up looking at that video on demand, there's like a scene where when you're talking to Rika in the stairwell at school, whenever you're talking to her there, it ends up zooming in on her crotch and then staying there for the entire time. And it's every time you talk to her in the stairwell. In Threnody, of Crashing Waves.
Just
so that you're
at least,
aware.
I thought it was a joke at first. Like
I did think it was a joke.
It came on the line of like, I'm not interested in love, and then it just like cut to her crotch, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh, that's hilarious.
I did think it was a joke at first, but then it stayed there, and then she never like said like my eyes are up here or anything like that. So I was like, oh, maybe this is an accident, and then it kept happening. So yeah, that's you can watch the VOD, but like yeah, there's that. Anyway, I'm watching till the end, but might be a little less vocal. Yeah, I mean, Chronic is a chronic lurker in our chats, so oh yeah, that's become a bit of a meme. Ha 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 ha. Chronic says lurk. It is not really a bug. Alright.
Okay, yeah, we just
Okay.
we were like, oh, that's hilarious, and then like it kept happening, so we were like, is that on purpose?
I don't know. It's just because it was never pointed out by like Rika was never like my eyes are up here or anything like that, which I kind of was expecting for like them to be like, look, this is a joke, but like okay, if it's on purpose, that's fine.
Yeah. I paused for a second to catch my breath.
It's not really a bug. It's just a bit awkward. Hey, it isn't really on the way home, is it? Keep losing his voice. That looks like it should be narrator.
Yeah, not Rika, but she put a finger to her mouth.
Oh, quiet now. This is a shortcut. I wanted to show more of the sprite, but it should have been done more naturally.
But again, like it's great for the like I'm not really interested in things like love, crotch shot, and then like I don't know.
Well, like
back
I
up
don't even
maybe
think it was I'm not
after the
interested
crotch
in
shot.
love. She like accuses you of like hitting on May, and you're like, hey, I'm not really interested in that sort of thing, and then you
Right,
immediately
yeah.
look at her crotch.
Did you read that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're almost there. Went too high again.
The lines of trees grew thicker, turning into a forest. Oh, the old church. And after a while, the path gave way to a clearance, in the midst of which there lay a ruin.
Well, if you want to go to the bathroom, I think that's a good
Scene transition.
suspenseful place to go. Boop. Break time.
BRB.
And while he goes to the bathroom, I guess I'll read this page. So again, our next stream, we'll be doing this stream until Leaves has to go. And our next stream is going to be tonight, 8 p.m. MST, and that is going to be the Construction Snake, the community fan game, demo 2.0, with Curtismutter still being here, as he is the developer of that one. Again, we did already do a dev stream of this particular game. You can find it in our VODs. That was version 1.0. Curtis has taken all of the comments, the suggestions, any problems that we found the first time around, and he has implemented all of them. As far as I know, he's now added a save function, which was like a big thing that he was talking about in our last video. So that has been added. I know there was some jokes made by both him and Drums that got put in. There were suggestions by the community that he thought were really good that he's put in. So that's all been set up. So we have like a lot of new stuff to go through. So tune in tonight to watch me once again be absolutely horrible at that game, because I'm not good at playing it. So again, that's tonight, 8 p.m. MST. That is 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern, 2 a.m. Central European. And also, for more upcoming streams, our June Puppo is a week away, guys. 1 week. One really short week. We're gonna be playing, well, me. I'm gonna be playing Minecraft again. And once again, that is our play until passing out. So I will start playing on June 1st at noon MST. That's 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. And I will be continuing to play that game until I fall asleep at the keyboard. So far, so good. I'm not sick this time. So there's that. The last time was really rough, and we couldn't figure out why I like faded so early on when I usually go for way longer. It was because I was sick last time. We found that out afterwards. I had to like go on antibiotics and stuff. It was a thing. So I'm healthy this time. Yay! Fingers crossed that stays that way for the next week. We literally just got a clean bill of health back from the doctor like yesterday, because like we all went and got checked just in case. So hopefully that means I make it past 36 hours this time, because that's what we hit last time before I had to call it. So yeah, this time we're hoping for a lot longer than 36 hours. Fingers crossed. If anybody's been watching our Just Chatting streams, I have been very slowly and methodically evening out the courtyard of the castle that we're building. So all of the landscape has been taken down to the ground like it needed to be. So our puppo's gonna start off with a lot of building. I need to fix all the towers that I incorrectly made last time of the castle because I wasn't thinking straight. So all the towers have to get rebuilt along the castle walls. And then the courtyard landscaping needs to be laid, as well as our castle. Our castle needs to get built up more by like a good amount of castle. And the incentive for our puppo this time, last time it was if you subscribe or like followed us, then your name got immortalized in the castle in some way. This time, if you follow us, if you are a follower, every day you get to add 5 songs that you would like to hear to a playlist. I'm going to be making Spotify playlists for everyone who follows and comments songs that they want to hear. Every follower will get 5 songs a day to add to their playlist. And for now, I'll just cycle through all of the follower playlists, and we'll do it that way. And then eventually, if we ever hit affiliate, that'll become something along the lines of you use bits to play your playlist for other people to hear. But if you've seen on our gameplay screen, which you'll see again once Curtis comes back, there is a marquee that goes by right now that says Jane is not currently listening to music. That does change to the song title, the artist, and the playlist that it's on. So you will be able to see like, oh, Jane is listening to this song on Curtismutter's playlist. So, I mean, I think it's a pretty cool kind of incentive that you get to make your own playlist and you get to hear those songs during the live stream. Only when you're here though, because I'm not listening to your music when you're not watching. So you have to be active in chat. I'm just gonna say that. You have to follow our stream and then comment in chat what songs for the day you want us to add to your playlist. And then whilst you're talking in chat, we will play your playlist so that you can hear your songs. And then for the time that you log off, because we don't expect people to stay awake with me the whole time, because like then what I was doing wouldn't be impressive. So when you log off, we'll take your playlist out of the rotation kind of thing, so that there'll be times where I get to listen to my own music. But you know, until then, if you wanna, and you can only hear your music during the live stream. You will not be able to hear your stuff on video on demand later. So that's kind of the incentive we're going for June. But again, that starts June 1st at noon. Curtis is back, but is now making himself another glass of drank. I don't know. Is there anything you want me to talk about for your game tonight? I mean, there is a special announcement tonight that kind of got ruined yesterday, but we will show off more of it.
I actually brought the Blu-ray booklet this time to show.
Oh, okay, yeah. So this all started with like a Blu-ray, like a booklet insert that Curtis had made, because like anybody who used to buy the box sets of DVDs in like the late 90s, early 2000s, you would get a bunch of stuff. You would get, sure, like all of the episodes, but it would come with like episode commentary, and it would come with an insert that like had a bunch of special info in it and stuff like that. And I guess the Community Blu-ray box set came with none of that. It just came with the episodes, and like, did it come with commentary?
There's commentary.
There's commentary.
But like, there's
So
nothing
there's-
telling you what's on what.
Yeah, so there's like, it comes with like special features, commentary and stuff, but nothing on the Blu-ray box set tells you what those commentaries are or anything like that. So Curtis took it upon himself to make a insert for that Blu-ray box set, and it's quite professional looking. It's all shiny and glossy and looks like a video game manual kind of. But that's basically where his inspiration for making this game kind of came from, because he wanted special things added to it. So he, I guess, will be here to show that off as well. Put it in front of the camera, flip through it. Again, guys, if you want to follow along tonight for the community stream, if you want to get notified when we go live for these kinds of things, or when we go live for our June play until passing out, etc., make sure to follow our channel, or go over to YouTube, like and subscribe our videos over there. Although again, you'll be missing out on any of the live music that we play during the Puppo. Did you just skip the ASMR-ness of pouring that pop again?
Oh, I did. Sorry.
You're depriving everybody of relaxation bubbles.
I'm not an AMS artist.
That's
You're
not,
south.
it's not AMSR. It's ASMR. You keep saying AMSR. What do you think it stands for?
Actually, my sounds rad.
Oh yeah. Okay, good to know. Keep that in mind. Anyway, back at it. Phew. Again, oh, and just to say that marquee that says Jane is not currently listening to music, that's what I was talking about, where that'll change to like, Jane is listening to, I don't know, you look like a Beat It by Michael Jackson person on Curtismutter's playlist. So that's kind of like the cool little incentive for our Puppo in a week. Make sure you tune in. Back to the game. Bow.
And after a while, the path gave way to a clearance, in the midst of which there lay a ruin.
Jesus, she's so freaking
Religious.
like stuck up. I don't know what else to call it.
Oh.
Vanity of vanity. All is vanity. There it lies, what remains of our old church. Oh, your volume's on.
Yeah.
As you can see, many stones have been taken away and repurposed. And these ruins wither under the force of the elements, stones crumbling. She's like stuck up and depressing at the same time, is how I would describe her. Currently, we're standing at the place where the graveyard used to be, before the graveyard relocation project took place. I thought she said that the graveyard was underwater. Wasn't that the point? Was that like the water was like coming in and like flooding the graves, so they had to relocate all of them, and then they were like, maybe we missed some and now they're in the sea.
I can't remember. Maybe
You
that's
already
a
forget.
Question
I feel,
for leaves.
Was that not the narrative? I thought that was the narrative. I'm confused. Okay. Yeah, okay. So, yes. In the past, the sea came up just a few yards from where we're standing. But after the reclamation of the surrounding land, the water slowly disappeared. In the fickle daylight... Oh, no, that's narration.
In
That's
the
you.
fickle daylight, I gazed upon the desolated church as it cast its lengthening shadows over the mossy forest floor. I was gonna say, like, it looks kind of like marshlandy, where, like, there maybe
It does
was
look
water
marshlandy.
here once.
I feel cold and wet looking at it. That's going to be a clip. Proper burial is of such pivotal importance to our faith. For those who sleep in the dust of the earth will awake one day, some to everlasting life. We believe, upon the second coming of our Lord and Savior, that burial forms prerequisite for entrance into the kingdom of heaven. Leaf says, it was underwater when Abbott was an island, but then the land surrounding Abbott was reclaimed and the sea disappeared. Yeah, that makes sense with the timeline. I was just confused for a minute. But let me get to the point. Over the course of the centuries, 326 headstones were transported to the new church's crypt. She gonna make you, like, dig up bodies for them? And 326 caskets were buried underneath. The thing is, not all of these caskets held our dead. Are you saying some of the graves were empty?
The new politician is a dead, old-school person.
She's a zombie!
That's why she keeps getting lost, because, like, it's like, yeah, I was born and raised here, but, like, there
No,
weren't
I want her to be
city
Damien,
buildings
though.
no more.
I want her to be Damien.
Damien.
Wait, or not Damien. Where did I get Damien from? I want her to be Bernard. Bernard. Where did I get Damien from?
I don't know.
Empty, yes. Or even worse, they held the remains of those unhallowed. It happened at the beginning of the previous century. In 1934, the islanders were close to exhuming the last of the old graves. Only 40 headstones remained, and a large concerted effort was undertaken to complete the remaining work and close the old graveyard for good. Leaf says, this is a bit confusing. Abbotsford history is based on a real former island with a link to, oh god, Skokeland? Skokeland?
Shockland?
I think it's Skokeland. Anyway, anybody interested, there's the wiki link. Interesting. It was during these days that an esteemed scientist visited our island.
It's from the Netherlands. I'm reading the wiki.
Dr. Bram Bulwer, chairholder of the Department of Forensic Anthropology at Leiden University. Bram's intentions were rather sinister. He seemed interested in creating an anatomical archetype of the inhabitants of the Isle of Abbott. Among the nation's elites, many prejudices existed against our people. Considering how isolated our community was, we were an interesting case study, genetically speaking. Sorry, I got a text message.
Cool. But back then, the islanders were clueless of the doctor's true intentions. Like we've always done with guests, we welcomed him in our midst and provided him with hospitality.
Why did you go up when I'm trying to make her baritone?
Because I'm trying to... Baritone for you is up to me.
Well, I mean, yeah, technically.
Because I'm such a man.
Yeah. It's because my voice is annoying as shit. Defaults to annoying. Bulwer did a lot of important work in our community, providing medical checkups to the elderly and administering polio shots to school children. My grandmother still remembers how he came to their school, lining up the children by height and taking all their measurements. Their arms, their legs, their skulls. Balmer wasn't questioned at the time, as people still held medical experts in high regard. Until he began involving himself with the graveyard relocation project. Immediately upon arrival, he offered to help with the exhumation of the graves, and during the first few days, he spent his every spare hour helping the digging crew. But after some time, this led to uneasiness. On multiple occasions, the doctor was accused of treating the exhumed remains without proper regard. Good guy or not. Did you miss the introduction to, I read that out. I read that out, right?
I might have missed it too.
The whole part where, like, he came here to, like, stereotype the, like, appearances of the Islanders kind of thing. Like that old junk science of, like, oh, all criminals have a wider skull kind of thing. Like, he basically showed up to the island to do that. To the Islanders. Yo, Blob. Not listening. Not listening. Although apparently Curtis wasn't either, so don't worry about it. On multiple occasions, the doctor was accused of treating the exhumed remains without proper regard. Taking skulls out of the graves, inspecting them, measuring them, treating them without the due reverence that should be observed during the handling of a deceased person. It led to arguments, and the doctor agreed to cease his participation in the relocation project. But even after this incident, Balwer was spotted near the old graveyard a few times, observing the workers and the empty graves. After 4 weeks, Balmer departed for the mainland, never to return, and the Islanders all but forgot about his mystifying presence.
Rika's face grew dark.
Until Dr. Bulwer died 20 years ago. After his death, his personal archive was made public, a routine move by the university.
I love the lighting change, by the way. Colors look very pretty.
His writings shone a new light into his stay on the island. A notebook from 1937 makes mention of 3 abbot skulls that were in possession of the doctor.
He took them.
That's the only time he mentions that term. 3 abbot skulls, just as an aside. And it can only be speculated what exactly took place. But I, and many on the island with me, suspect that Balmer must have snuck out one dark... my eyes did not see that word for a minute. Must have snuck out one dark night, exhumed 3 graves, and replaced 3 of our skulls with other specimen from his undoubtedly vast collection, before carefully resealing the graves, thus leaving him in possession of 3 exceedingly rare skulls from the eccentric population of Abbott. Are you saying the doctor went through all that trouble to steal some own bones? He did. He stole the remains of our ancestors to display them in a cabinet as some kind of exotic curio. We must return these remains, the abbot skulls, so that we can bury them in our native soil. These people, these poor souls, they have the right to a Christian burial. This is of fundamental religious importance to us.
Oh, so she's Christian? I also thought she was part of some, like, weird cult that, like, praised Cthulhu or something.
No, in the first game, I think they were saying that it was, like, a Protestant church.
Okay.
I think what it was. Don't quote me on that. Go back and watch the VOD, because I don't exactly remember. I think it was a Protestant church. They were, like, initially a part of, like, a bigger Protestant church, but then they were, like, at least where we got to in the game, But then they got, like... Their sect that remained on the island got, like, audited. And then that audit resulted in them being kicked out of the main Protestant sect.
Yeah, okay.
So they're kind of like their own sect, but, like, roots in Protestant, I think, is how... That, I mean, again... we only got like 2.5 hours into the first game, and I mean, we're 2.5 hours into this one, so you can see how much information that turns into.
I looked at her uncomprehendingly. I hate when the girl you like asks you to reclaim the skulls of her ancestors.
Oh, you may find my obsession morbid, but these bones tell the story of our people. I mean, she didn't ask you to reclaim them yet. That's where this is definitely going, but she hasn't asked you yet. Each of my ancestors has been buried on this island, far back into the Dark Ages. It's a humbling thought to have them all in one place. To know that I will, one day, lie among them, in the depths of the earth, protected by a sheltering church and the mighty God that rules from above.
Rika's eyes shone in an exalted glare, and I realized she could continue preaching like this for hours.
Listen, Rika, I'm running late. Maybe we could continue this conversation at another... It's okay. I'm done. All I want to ask you see. After Balmer's archives were published, we petitioned the university to return the skulls. But they only sent us a short reply, explaining that no record existed of skulls from Abbott, and that their mention in the notebook was likely an error. After that, all our further pleas went unanswered. We need someone with journalistic inlets, to look further into the case. To do due research, to find out everything there is to know about these relics, and to publicize the whole dark matter, so that the university will be forced to reveal the skeletons in its closet.
She looked up at the setting sun.
I apologize, Abe. It's growing late, and I've led you astray. I'm beginning to realize this really wasn't much of a shortcut. It wasn't, was it? But I know a quicker way back to town that leads through the fields. I promise we'll have you home before sundown. Isn't it already sundown? I mean, I guess sunset and sundown aren't the same thing.
I don't know that I would trust this person's second shortcut. She took me down a bicycle path that led out of the woods. Within a few minutes, we came upon a little used trail that ran through the tulip fields.
It was pretty. Mm-hmm. We have picked the season. Pretty, aren't they? In a few days, these tulips will be harvested and flown in cooled crates to places all across the globe.
She pointed towards a purple-spotted flower.
Just imagine, this poor thing could be wilting in a vase in Beijing by the end of the week. She's so, negative. To think that something of such beauty would await such a cruel fate. Do they not lay flowers at their funerals, or does she think that that's not a cruel fate to kill them at funerals? But eventually, that is the path of all things radiant. It just shows that we truly live in a fallen creation that groans under the consequences of our sin. Vanity of vanity, all is vanity.
She sighed.
At least the farmers can harvest gold. A batch of these tulips will fetch a small fortune at auction. And come May, the land is plowed and wheat is sown, and the cycle goes on as usual.
Wednesday morning. I just remembered the interview I'd been asked to conduct with Marissa, the scatterbrain girl that I'd met last Saturday. With our deadline approaching rapidly, I pondered what my next move should be. Ina couldn't expect me, realistically, to produce a quality interview on such short notice. And where to start? I didn't even have her phone number. If I just show up at her door out of the blue, she'd be sure to reject me. I pondered the thought for a second. A rejection. That was what I needed. If I could simply tell Ina that Marissa had refused to grant me an interview, I'd be free from my obligations.
That I is missing here, Leaves. It just says if could simply.
Oh,
Note. Asterisk.
good catch.
Yep.
After all, no means no. And then Ina would be able to interrogate her herself at a later date. Driven by these motives, and without any prior preparation, I found myself knocking on the door of Marissa's apartment. You do not care about your reputation, do you? An interview?
Yeah, it's for a paper. It shouldn't take more than a few hours of your time. But I understand if you're busy.
A few hours. Busy? Not at all. Who saw this coming?
Leaves says thank you. You are welcome.
You've caught me a little off guard, but I'd love to give an interview. A sinking feeling took hold of me. You must have heard about my appointment as the new leading candidate for Flock 05. I'm so sorry I couldn't tell you last time we met. I was under strict orders to keep it a secret until our press release went out on Sunday night. And now you want me to conduct an interview? A real interview? With me?
Do you want me to do the narration? Because it seems like this is Marissa heavy.
Sure.
She was beaming.
Oh, this is all so exciting. I was a bit disappointed, you know. You're the first local press outlet to show interest in my new position.
We're the only local press outlet.
Yeah. Word for word. Welcome
Shit.
to Jane Predicts.
We're the only local press outlet.
I want to tell you everything about our movement. But, I was actually in the middle of something. My apartment is a mess. Please meet me across the street in the Cutter Boat Cafe in 15 minutes. We'll conduct the interview there. Good, you have 15 minutes to think of some questions.
As I sat in the empty cafe, tenderly sipping my watery ristretto, never heard of that, 1,000 thoughts passed through my mind. Part of me was ready to escape while I still had the chance, hastily scribbling an excuse note on a piece of paper before winging it out the door. But simultaneously, I found myself making up potential interview questions as a fickle attempt to alleviate the very worst outcome. Because I was well aware that I wouldn't have the nerve to run, that I would remain sitting here, caught in like a deer in headlights, counting down the seconds until my inescapable humiliation. And there she was.
Achoo! 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 I'm going for a world record. That was 3. I can do better next time.
Oh no, is he dying? Oh no, did you save him? Good job. Good job, puppers. Good job.
Yo Blob thought that was funny. As I watched her approaching through the window, I noticed something luminous in her appearance that I hadn't detected back when I saw her in the hallway.
That?
It wasn't until she sat down in front of me that I realized she'd put on makeup.
She wants to impress me. This is a great place, isn't it?
Do you even have a camera to, like, take her picture?
So close by.
Oh, sorry. Yawn. Easy to find your way home from.
Don't tease me, I've been doing a lot better. I bought a map, you know. Anyway, I'm very glad you're willing to talk to me. Even though some national papers ran our press release, you're the first journalist to show interest in our actual story. But please go easy on me today. You should know I've only been instated recently.
That's right. I heard there was an issue with your predecessor.
My predecessor, Jurgen.
She blushed.
Let's not talk about him at all. I believe the gutter press have uncovered all of his shady dealings.
She lowered her voice.
New political parties attract all kinds of, types, you know? When you're building up a movement, it isn't always possible to separate the wheat from the chaff.
Do you want to, like, pull back the curtain for her? It keeps falling. She doesn't realize that that's not a door.
There you go. Go for it. But I think we've left these days behind. I want us to look toward the future, not the past. We've dealt with Jurgen in a responsible manner, and now we're ready to turn the page. You can quote me on that, verbatim. Are you taking notes?
Hastily, I produced a notebook from my bag. Yeah. I was trying to recall some of the questions that I had prepared before Marissa's entry, none of which I'd thought to write down. So, could you tell me something about your goals as a leader? I mean, what would you do if you were elected? She shuffled anxiously.
Well, that's the real question, isn't it?
She thought long and hard.
Flock 05 wants to bring balance and safety. Many things have become unbalanced in our town. AIR, Abbotsford's largest political party, has ruled continuously for the past 60 years. And though they seem like an obvious choice for those seeking stability, we believe their sole rulership has caused a steady decline. Nothing immediate or life-threatening, but small things. Like the social cohesion in our town, the sense of safety on the streets, rising corruption. Many values that were once commonplace have all but disappeared. And because this decline has been a gradual process spanning many decades, it has passed many by. Until 2005, when a small group of concerned citizens joined forces against the rising tide, working hard to provide a political alternative to the time-worn status quo. Even as an opposition party, Flock has been able to achieve so much for our community.
She clasped her hands together forcefully.
And now, we believe we're ready to take the lead.
These are fighting words for a new frontrunner.
Do I really come off that way?
She shuffled around nervously in her seat.
You can tone it down a little in the article. Please don't paint me in too bad a light. You may have heard people speak negatively about our movement, stating that we are extremists of some kind. But you must understand that there is nothing extreme about our goals. All we want is to live in a fair and safe society. Isn't that the most moderate stance of all?
She smiled a tender smile.
You know how it goes. Whenever you challenge the powers that be, they'll do anything to paint you in a bad light. We've been called vandals, authoritarians, bullies. But please realize we're nothing like that. They call us names in order to cast doubt upon our intentions.
Politics can be horrible at times.
Exactly. But it's a game, you see? I need to be resilient.
A waitress came by to take Marissa's order. I got up to visit the restroom. And as I approached the wash basin to wash my hands, a young man brushed by me. Oh no, not Bernard! He turned around. Damn it! They even look alike! I'm so disappointed.
How are the Madeleines here?
Oh god. Do you have like a sleepy voice?
Yeah, that's my normal voice.
You haven't used your normal voice yet.
How are the Madeleines
Why don't you just
here?
use your normal voice? Make it easy on yourself.
Because that's my narration voice.
The Madeleines. Leaves is that a bad crying, Leaves?
I think it's just because we both had our theory that
That they were the same person,
Yeah.
but they even look alike.
Well, we haven't seen them both in the same place at the same time.
She tore off her wig, changed her outfit, ran into the bathroom before you got in there.
Hey, how come every time Bernard's around, you're nowhere to be seen, and vice versa?
I've never seen you two in the same place at once. I have no idea. He grinned playfully.
You don't? Having your doubts already?
And with these words, he slipped through the door. I'm so sad. When I returned to the common area, Marissa sat behind a steaming cup of latte. She gestured towards the young man, who had seated himself at a nearby table, where he read his paper auspiciously.
Did that guy say anything to you?
There was a hint of acrimony in her voice. That guy? He asked me about the confectionery.
The confectionery? That's strange, isn't it?
I don't know. It was just a question. She pouted.
He shouldn't be asking questions like that. Anyway, let us return to the interview. I was telling you about the core principles of our party. At Flock, we are realists. We do not delude ourselves with soothing fairy tales about human benevolence.
She had become serious, uttering her words clearly and without hesitation. There was little that reminded me of the timid, forlorn girl that I'd led home last Saturday.
We believe society constitutes no more than a thin veneer of civility that hides away the true horrors of human nature. This is a subject I've explored extensively during my studies. In the natural state, without rules and institutions to enforce peace, humans are in a constant condition of struggle. We'd lived in continual fear of violent death, our lives
Solitary.
I don't know why I struggled on that. Our lives solitary, poor, nasty, brutish, short. A good government needs to be fair and strong, to withhold man from its natural inclinations towards violence. And we, as Flock, are ready to take that position away from the current political elite that has become the very embodiment of that which it vowed to protect us from.
So how many votes would you need to have a shot at winning the mayoral office? She pondered.
Quite a bit more than we currently have.
Nika, I can see you doing that. Dog has a habit of trying to sneak her toys outside.
There she goes. And AIR would have to lose some.
She smiled before continuing in a hushed voice.
But we have a secret weapon. An influential politician will be joining our party soon.
This doesn't seem like the type of shit she should be telling a journalist.
To back me up as my right-hand man.
Right?
He's sitting right behind me,
Well,
and apparently
obviously.
he's extremely concerned about confectionery.
And also somehow influential, even though his dad claims he didn't graduate
Like
school.
a slacker.
Was a slacker, and also is the son of the politician who got caught.
I also don't get why she was
Sleeping around.
Like, he shouldn't be asking questions like that. Like, I don't understand what the meaning of that was.
He shouldn't be talking to anybody. Keep his mouth shut.
People know that Flock is all about confectionery.
No, all against confectionery, otherwise he'd be allowed to talk about it.
We should be able to release his name somewhere next week. But please, hint at this news in your article to create some suspense. See, this is what I was talking about yesterday with leaking stuff intentionally. It's a major move.
That's not what you did yesterday, you just accidentally said it.
I purposely leaked it with great political flourish. I promise you, he's an established political figure. I believe his backing will truly push our movement into the lead.
A stir beside us.
Sounds like you've been getting mixed up in sleazy circles again, Madeline.
It was the young man who had switched over to a table closer to ours. In an instant, Marissa's entire demeanor changed.
You stay out of this! You haven't changed a bit, Madeline. And it appears that you found a new victim.
He leaned over to me.
Don't be fooled by her charm. You wouldn't be the first young man to succumb to her wiles. Ignore him, Abe. Let's continue the interview. Bernard here is a terrible person, a bully. At university, he hung around with a band of lowlives, wrecking havoc, causing trouble for students that actually tried to accomplish something in their lives.
I think that's wreaking havoc. Wrecking havoc! You destroyed it!
Well, you
Havoc was perfectly fine until he came along.
wreaked my wreck.
Nika! Stop barking at the people in the parking lot, please. I know. Oh my goodness. They're evil. Come here. Come here.
Accomplish something? Like taking charge of an authoritarian movement? Hello. Hello.
It's your turn to
How
read.
are you?
Oh, you looked at that and looked away.
No. Nonsense. I gotta find the voice. Nonsense. Come on. He's ruining the interview. Let's go up to my apartment. Up to her apartment already. You're a lost cause, young man. Sick transient, Gloria Mundi. Or Mundi, I don't know.
It's probably Mundi, I would think. That seems more Latin.
Oh, it does, yeah.
Fuming, Marissa pulled me out of the establishment. I don't know who that was.
Oh, kiss, kiss, kiss. Oh, kiss, 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 kiss. Oh, stay on camera if you're going to be a brat.
Marissa sighed.
Feet.
Hmm?
Foot, feet, toes. God. Marissa sighed.
Do you see what's happening? You can't even go for a quiet conversation without being harassed in this town. What a nuisance that Bernard is. I hope he goes away soon. He's probably visiting his dad, who lives down here. Poor man.
She clasped her hands together tenderly. Anyway, I think I have enough material for a decent article. The piece should be out next Sunday, together with interviews with the other party leaders.
Thank you for the interview.
She hesitated.
Please don't paint me in too negative a light. As I said, our movement hasn't always been treated fairly by the press. And it causes prejudices, like these things Bernard said to me. I mean, that seemed more like a personal vendetta.
Oh, that was entirely a personal vendetta.
But I feel that you're a sincere reporter who would be willing to give us a chance. If you treat us fairly, I may be able to help you.
She grew serious.
To help you with a revelation. I know things about the political elite in this town. About the mayor.
Mayor Van Linden? What do you know about him?
It's too soon. I can't tell. But let's talk again.
She scribbled something down on a piece of paper.
Here's my number. I'm sure we'll be in contact a lot during the campaign season.
We headed to the door.
Oh yeah, I was wondering. Are you going on the Easter break outing? Because I am, as the political leader, going to this high school.
Is he in high school? I don't know. He's in school. I don't know if it's a high school anymore. I'm very confused. Easter break? How do you know about that?
Coffee stream bot. Buy Jane a coffee, people.
That's not what that says.
Rika invited me. I thought it might be fun. Well, it's the coffee stream bot just saying
Give me caffeine from our puppos, people.
Exactly.
Rika invited her. Why would Rika invite a 25-year-old politician to the Easter break study session?
Maybe she goes to the church.
But it's an Easter break study session for the students of the school.
Maybe she'll teach the political sciences class.
Rika? You met Rika?
Yes, her father is in the town council, you know. Oh, that's probably the secondary politician who was going to vouch for her. He's a politician for AIR, but a respectable one.
Well, that sounds like her. I think she's been inviting everyone. You should know Easter break is mostly aimed at high school students.
Oh, I always hang out with high schoolers. That's why I had to leave my last city.
Her lip sank down sullenly.
You think so? I thought it would be fun, as a relief from politics. How about you let me know if you decide to go? Then at least I'll have someone to talk to.
But Rika invited you, so wouldn't you be talking to Rika?
You have my number.
Yeah, I could just right here.
Perfect. Nice.
We only got nice on Ina and... Or I forgot her name. Marissa. I mean, that's the end of part 1, and we just hit 3 hours. I'm just wondering if maybe we should call it here?
This would be, at least for me, this would kind of be where I'd kind of have to take my exit.
Because if part 2 is also 3 hours, then we're going to be here for a real long time. For longer than we wanted, because we wanted to stop at 6. At the latest. You survived part 1 somehow.
But yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Leaves.
It was really fun, and I am like interested in seeing more. I love the artwork. I love like just like the little touches in the art where like they blink and stuff like that is nice to see. So some of my thoughts and like the story, like I'm interested in a lot of the characters and seeing where this goes. So like it's a good hook. So those are just kind of my little thoughts.
Literally, the visual novels are made on the quality of their artwork and the quality of the story, and I think that this game has both, which is like especially saying something considering it's a free to play on Steam. Go download now. Thank you for the great playthrough and finding the bugs. Yeah, no problem. I mean, this is the sequel, so like we did it for the dev stream, with you because it's like your latest release and like it kind of makes more sense to do it for the dev stream. But like I said, we did start playing through your first game on Friday. That VOD is up on our YouTube. So I think like at least I will download it on Steam for sure, or the first one. The first one is Deluge, Threnody of Crushing Waves. So add me on Discord if you want to discuss visual novels more. Lane 00. Yeah, no, we'll for sure do that. So yeah, so I think we're probably going to continue playing through your first game. Like, at least once a week, I guess. We'll do, like, a visual novel day. I don't know which day it would be. Visual novel doesn't really rhyme with anything. Visual novel.
Visual novel nights?
Well, but that implies it's every night.
Visual novel night.
Well, it's, anyway.
I don't know. We'll figure something out.
You have you have nothing to do with this.
I'm inviting myself again. That's my thing.
We'll probably play the game once a week to try to get through Threnody of Crushing Waves. Yeah, Leaves, if you want to do this again, we have this developer weekend, the last weekend of every month. I should probably bring up the calendar here before I say anything else.
But yeah, I will say I'm just kind of the side person invite on this, so that likely I will not be here.
Yeah,
for other ones.
No. Curtismutter just pops by occasionally, and he's here this weekend for his game. So we do this dev weekend once a month, the last weekend of every month. Oh god, that's gonna be a nightmare next month. So next month, this dev weekend will be June 29th and 30th. Shit. That's gonna suck for me. But anyway, yeah, if you wanna come by again, you let us know. I'll become a regular viewer. See you next time. Awesome, thank you very much. So yeah, we'll play Threnody once a week until we get to the end of it. I don't really like starting a game on stream and then not
seeing it through,
playing it ever again. Like, here's the first chapter of this game, and then we never mention it again. Like, that's a little kind of mean. So we'll at least play through Threnody, and then if you want to come back at the end of June on the 29th or 30th, we can set that up and we'll play more of your newer game kind of thing. But in the meantime, Curtis and I are going to go eat dinner in prep for our next stream, which is tonight at 8 p.m. MST. That is the Construction Snake Community Band Game Demo with Curtismutter, who is currently sitting next to me. That is his baby. That is his game. He is the developer of that one. Version 2.0. In the meantime, I mean, we're going to be offline for the next roughly 4 hours. If you want to go check out the first dev stream we did with Curtismutter and that game, you can go head over to our YouTube at J McKenna Stories, which is at JMCKENNASTORIES, and you can watch the original video on demand of that stream. And yeah. We'll see everybody else tonight.
Yeah.
You'll be there. Thank you, yo bro.
And yeah, thank you for having me, Jane, as always, and thank you, Leaves, for allowing me to participate in this. It was a lot of fun.
Thanks for everybody for coming out for this particular stream, for asking questions, for leaving comments, for adding suggestions. And if you're watching this on YouTube, please comment below, like, subscribe, share, and comment below any suggestions, or if you noticed mistake, like we pointed out a couple of grammatical things we'd like to change or something, but if we missed anything, point that out too, and we'll pass all that information on to Leaves, so that we can use it.
I'll mention our playing of Construction Snake will have some of those typos that people pointed out, including Jane herself, that are corrected in this upcoming one. So
were there typos in it?
Elroy Patashnik.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. Okay. So again, thank you everybody for watching, and we will see you again in a little less than 4 hours.
Peace and love.
See you guys.